All right, I think we're gonna be starting here in a second or two. Just getting things set up here. No music today for the opening. Doesn't really matter, I guess. Whatever. It is what it is. All right. All right, I think we're ready to get started here. Testing. Hopefully my mic is working. Hopefully I have everything set up properly. Let me get my other things up here. There we go for that. But yeah, I know it's been a little while since I reacted to the first part. I reacted to the first part of DSP reacting to his own documentary, the Joon the King's Darksydephil documentary that we've all probably seen 100 times by this point, right? I mean, I haven't, but I'm sure everyone else has. I still haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen some people reacting to bits and pieces of it here and there, but I've never actually seen the entire thing. All right. And I know my last couple streams were just trying to catch up on recent stuff. But I do kind of want to finish this. I do want to watch all of DSP's reactions to his own documentary. So tonight's is going to be part 2. Hopefully I'll get through the whole thing without pausing too much. We'll see how that goes. But it's just that kind of thing. So without much further ado, let's get started here. I think I have it set up in the right spot.
Then Watergate is the incident. Yes, I think we'll get to the incident tonight. It's about an hour from where we are, but I do feel like we're going to get to it.
Oh, it's already set up.
A lot of this Detractor stuff, I'm just going to press play and watch and listen and maybe kind of, I don't know that much to add to that stuff because I wasn't involved in it. I only saw it from my perspective of the person being trolled, so I didn't know what was really going on. It's going to be more of an education. If he dug the information up and everything about these guys, that's going to be total new information for me that I never even knew. You know what I'm saying? So
information
I'm
about who?
by this. Let's see what happens tonight as we get through this. And again, I thank you all for giving me your time. The funny part is, so last night we had a lot of people, and I'm curious, every night will we get just as many people on the stream? Right now, we're not even close to what we had last night, but
they have to travel through 7 gaming roles,
talking about it in like a roundtable fashion.
For assistance with the project for the sole purpose of a shout-out, which they hope will launch their YouTube career.
Right.
Hello, I'm John, and I'm joined by Howard. Woohoo! So
this is going to be them in a video that they made about me in 2015, many years later, because Project 7 we made in 2011 and part of 2012. In 2015, after I had moved away and all our relationships had changed, like we weren't close friends anymore, they made this video and basically kind of told their side of the story that they had never even told me. So when this video came out, and the audio you're hearing is from this video, it's just audio only, but it is a video on YouTube, I was shocked just as much as everyone else because they had never expressed anything in this video to me directly ever. They just decided
they probably hinted to it, but you were too stupid to take the hint, Phil. Like, usually that's kind of the case. It's like, hey, maybe like, not everyone is like so forthcoming and being super honest or right with the person. You know what I mean? They might hint at something like, maybe you shouldn't do that,
And put this video on YouTube. Go figure. Okay.
So it was a lot of work for them. I don't think it was much work for us.
And instead of saying like, hey, stop doing that, they gave you numerous chances to change your way of thinking and you still haven't. Never did. And so they're like, okay, we're done with this guy.
Talked about how hard the day was.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard for us. It was hard for them.
Yeah, I mean, it was one day of filming. Maybe 7 hours.
Respect the Pact put in a tremendous amount of work to edit the project that only made it to episode 4 because one of the members had a child on the way, and the shoutouts that they got from the project did virtually nothing for their own personal channel.
No
shit.
Also
the fact that Project 7 was practically a failure. The entire 4 episodes, when adding up the views, did not even surpass 1 million. It was far more lucrative for DSP to continue pumping out low-quality, effortless gameplay videos that he had even
which he's still doing today.
Not only was he getting a set $2 per 1,000 views, sometimes he will get a bonus simply because of the size of his channel.
That's true. Now, just to make this clear, All right, because I don't know, as he says that, if he's trying to spin it like I decided to end Project 7. That's not true at all. I had idea to make upwards of 10, 12, 15 episodes.
15 my ass. Yeah, okay, sure, Phil.
DVD, make money,
15 episodes.
promote it, like this was a
Come
big thing
on.
that we were going to do. And they just quit after 4 episodes and said that it was too much work for them and they weren't getting anything out of it. It wasn't that
They weren't.
Phil decided he just wanted to go back to making gameplay videos because it wasn't lucrative. That wasn't actually truthful at all.
It wasn't lucrative.
So I would have kept doing it. I had all these ideas for future episodes that never got made.
The rest of the crew still desired to continue making these, and John Rambo put forth the idea that if DSP offered Respect the Pact money, then they would have no reason to stay.
That's completely false. That's not what happened at all. Respect the Pact contacted me directly and said, we don't want to go forward with the project anymore because we're not getting the attention and clout and growth on our own content.
It wasn't worth their time,
and
Phil.
We're getting too busy with other things in our own lives, and we're just done with it. And I even said to them, would you consider under any circumstance doing it again? And they said, we're not sure.
Why would anyone believe this, Phil?
Is truthful. I got food poisoning. I ate some
bullshit. I got food poisoning, guys.
And then after that, I tried to reschedule. It just never worked. We never got back together ever again. The whole thing just fell apart. So I
sorry, I was going to go and pay you guys money and meet with y'all, but I was sitting on this stuck in the toilet.
Maybe at that
and I can't possibly reschedule an appointment or anything.
Right? They might have said that. And if
come on,
I
Phil.
said, okay, let's come to an agreement to keep going because I wanted to keep going. But we never had a meeting. They never contacted me ever again about it. It was after
maybe it was up to you to contact them. Why do they have to contact you, Phil? Like if it was your fault that you missed the meeting, why wouldn't you then contact them and be like, hey, sorry about that. I know I had food poisoning or whatever. So do you want to reschedule this for another time? Like, that's on you to follow up with them. They are not obligated to follow up with you because you flaked on them for being sick.
And in fact, I reached out to a couple other people on the internet who were internet filmmakers about the possibility of stepping in to replace Respect the Pact. But basically what happened was after 4 episodes with the same crew, the same actors,
it's all just lies, Phil.
Well, imagine if all of a sudden there was a giant shift in tone or shift in production quality or shift in, change. It wouldn't have felt the same. And I think a lot of people might have felt resentful if I went forward with this show with another crew saying, oh, but it was really
no, they wouldn't.
Previously, why would you keep making the show without them, right? So I said, forget it. We'll just cancel it. And to this day, I really do wish
laziness and greed is why he canceled
the fact that I
it.
didn't want to pay them or anything like
You
that.
didn't want to pay them.
Never happened. The upfront conversation was they just wanted clout on their channel and attention, and then there was never a follow-up conversation.
And they just wanted clout,
okay?
guys.
Have a number and then split it the 5 ways and throw them the cash.
Yep.
And offer that to them. There's no guarantee that they're going to continue with the series, but hey man, at least try.
Phil did not do so.
That's right.
Fail did not do so.
Basically, they stopped talking to me. Like the original meeting was never happened, and then they just stopped contacting me after that. And I was like, well, I guess it's done then. Now I already talked about
it is done. It is finished.
The show made me no money at all. I lost money on Project 7, but let's see if Joon brings that up at all.
He even lied to John Rambo and Howard and said that he did offer them money, only for them to ask Respect the Pact themselves.
His response:
that's bullshit. I didn't lie. I'm telling you the truth. This is complete nonsense.
Who am I gonna believe? John Rambo, who has no reason to lie whatsoever, or Phil, who has a history of lying to people about the stupidest, smallest thing? He'll still lie to people. So why would we believe Phil over John or Howard or whoever, or Respect the Pact?
Up front, the original discussion was, what would you want out of this? And they said, we don't want money. We just want attention and plugs in the show. It was never.
Yeah, initially things changed because one of them was having a kid, Phil, and it wasn't worth the time.
That's what they told me.
What he says, they told him that.
Yeah, and then I asked them about it, and they said he didn't even talk to them.
So they lied. In the initial discussion we had, they outright said, we do not want money. I remember the conversation that we had in person at Starbucks. I remember it.
Because Phil's the kind of guy who it's like, once you say something, you can't ever change your mind on anything, right? It's like, oh, circumstances arose where things changed. No. You said 5 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, you said this. So what you said back then still has to be applicable for the rest of time, apparently, according to Phil. Because things possibly can't ever change for you. You said this then, that has to hold true for the rest of life. For the rest of your life, that has to hold true. Because you're not allowed to change your mind if things come up, if you have to cancel it. if you have a fucking child and maybe it's not worth your time to give them all this free effort and work towards this shitty ass, stupid little series that you got when they're not getting any attention whatsoever for it, no real credit for it, and no money for it. Like, you kind of need to, like, focus on your priorities, and a kid is a way more priority than your shitty ass little show that you were doing, Phil.
I remember staring at, I forget his name. It was the guy on the left, not the guy on the right there, but the guy on the left.
Again, things changed, Phil.
The guy on the left, him and me were there
This guy.
first. We were talking, and he said, "Write to me. We don't want money. We're looking for shout outs and attention. We want plugs
At the
in
time.
videos so people will check out our content."
At the time, Phil.
And then the follow-up email was again with him. I forget his name. It's been so long. And that was when we were supposed to have a meeting.
It's been so
And we
long.
agreed on, do you maybe want something else? And then the meeting got canceled because I had food poisoning. And then no one ever contacted anyone ever again. Okay? So they lied to Howard.
Yeah,
apparently,
because it
about
was
this to
on
save
you
face. And
after
now
the
I'm
food
the one who ends up looking
poisoning
bad because I'm
to
the public
contact them
figure. Isn't that
back and
great?
reschedule,
Whatever.
and you didn't.
Phil was bold-faced lying to his two friends.
No, I was not. That is complete bullshit. You cannot prove that whatsoever. That's complete hearsay. That's nonsense.
This was already on top
That's the public's, what is it? That's what the public thinks, Phil. That's like the public's take on matters. It's like, yeah, you lied. Everyone can tell you were lying. Why would anyone believe you over them, Phil? That's like public opinion right now, Phil.
of other compounding.
We don't need proof. It's like, oh, was OJ actually guilty back then? Well, technically, because of technicalities, he wasn't convicted in court. But public opinion basically had him as a guilty man. Public opinion-wise. And nothing he could do could change that.
Smaller problems, like Phil's jealousy of larger content creators and how he would lash out,
Still
creating unwanted
is.
attention towards his channel or just himself.
That part's
Comments
true.
would also sometimes spark jealousy of his friends and would create a response from Phil.
Case in point, in this teaser trailer, there's a funny scene featuring John Rambo, and everyone says it's the best part of the trailer. And I even saw a comment saying, "Wow, this is Rambo's the funniest thing." Guess what? I wrote that scene.
These small,
Jealousy.
inconsequential things would add up slowly and drive a rift between DSP and John Rambo. Like,
And you want to know why they did? My detractors. Because at this
No,
point, in
it was
2012,
because of
there
you.
was a group of
It
people
was
starting
your
videos-
it was your fans, bitch. It wasn't us. We didn't care. We don't care about this shit. It was because of your fans that went and bugged him.
Oh, this is how you don't play, which I'm sure he'll cover. Okay. And
Oh
then,
my
based
God.
off of that, they wanted to try to create trolling and a rift between me and my friends.
No,
So
we
what they would do
didn't.
is they would hear me say something like that in a video, and then they would go to John behind the scenes, and they would flag him in all his videos, like video comments on his YouTube channel. They would email him and be like, "Hey, John, Phil is taking all the credit. Phil is trying to say that you didn't do anything, and he wrote everything
I'm
in the
just
show."
sitting here
Obviously,
listening
that's
to
not
him
what
lie and
actually
lie,
happened,
and I'm like,
right? But that's what they would do. They put the little
why
bone in his
would any,
ear
like,
to
even
piss
if
him
you,
off. And it got to
like,
him,
even
and
if you're not a
confronted me about it.
detractor,
I don't
why
know if
would
he'll
you
talk about this or not? Let's see.
un-
DSP
Unironically
lied about John
like
Rambo
this
not
guy?
wanting to play Mario Party.
I don't get it.
That's for
He
gay
has no
messages.
talent.
This I don't remember at
He's
all.
not
I really don't
entertaining.
remember this at all. Very well.
He's
maybe I
not
did say that
funny.
just to get people to shut up about it, perhaps.
So
Because I
why
think
would
people kept asking
anyone
me to play
actually
Mario Party with John,
actively
play
watch
Mario
this
Party with John, but I ended
person
up playing it with my ex. Maybe I lied
outside
about
of
that to
like
get people to shut the fuck up
some
about it.
weird
I don't remember at all, so I
obligation
can't corroborate anything here.
because you once
People are
used to
pissy.
watch him
Oh,
years
it's
and
not
years
mature enough for
ago
you big nose piece of shit.
and unable to find better
Everything
people?
eventually
I
circles back.
guess.
Phil at first would pay John Rambo 50% of all the earnings in the Let's Plays he was involved in, but as it becomes more difficult to calculate the earnings with DSP's expansive catalog of videos, instead he would just toss him $100 every
DSP,
time
Phil
he
was
visited.
just
That's
too
also incorrect.
lazy to calculate it.
June made a few mistakes here, or at least he's just going off of hearsay, okay? That's completely incorrect. I was giving John 50% of the revenue on the videos he was involved in when Machinima would provide me with reports on how much money the videos
And
made.
you're
This was
too lazy to
before
calculate it
YouTube had detailed
yourself.
analytics on YouTube. We're talking 2010, 11, and 12, okay? When by the time that those came out, we weren't doing this anymore, okay? So the only way I could get actual data on what I made on each video, I had to each month write to Machinima, my partner network, and say, "Can you please give me a report? Because I really need that data to pay my friend who's essentially my employee." And I would wait and wait and wait, and then finally they would get back to me and send me a report. Eventually,
Uh-huh. Why would
Machinima had
anyone
so much
believe
reorganization
this?
and
Come
change
on,
inside of their structure,
Phil.
they didn't ever provide reports anymore. I asked, they said, "We can't do that anymore." So, and there was no.
And you don't have the analytics yourself to look into that shit? You can find out which videos had John in it and see how well they did, each of those videos did, and then do the calculations based on that. But you're too lazy to do that.
analytics, so there was no way for me to know what the videos made. Now we
That's
could
bullshit.
guess based on, you know, view performance and what we saw, you know, previous we were making on a certain amount of views and stuff like that, you know, per video. And basically what ended up happening was John and I came to an agreement. He would basically want, like, I think it was $100 every visit, every Saturday for his time. So $100 for the whole day to hang out and play
Which
video
is
games and stuff
ripping
like that.
John off,
Okay?
by the way,
That was-
because $100 for you to drive what 7 hours one way and 7 hours back for $100, that doesn't seem worth it. Just on gas alone, it was probably close to $50 to $60, and then maybe you have like a little bit left to buy something to eat. That's it. Like, that's not worth a whole lot. That's not, like, in my opinion, that's definitely not worth driving all that fucking way and then having to drive all the way back in a day or two. It's not worth it at all.
He wanted.
And then, like, I don't remember if he actually, like, ever stayed more than one day at a time there. It's like, but if he did, he would have had to have gotten a hotel or something. It's not worth it.
Me saying, hey, I'll offer it. That's what he asked for. I would have given him more. If he said, I want $500 a weekend, I probably would have said,
Bullshit. Well, maybe as a good friend, you should have been like, hey, like, maybe $100 is kind of too low. Here, have $200. As a friend who was making a lot of money at the time, you should have, like, a normal human would have been like, oh, well, yeah, if I would have gave you more, you would have given him more already. Like, why didn't you?
yes, because I enjoyed the content we were making together. And for the record, again, I've already talked about all this and when I reacted to the
This
John
is
Howard video
bullshit.
specifically years ago. But to clarify again, re-clarify, basically, I liked doing this so much with John. I didn't see it as work. He apparently did. I thought it was a hangout session we were getting paid for, so I would have paid him whatever just to help him out. By the end, by like the last,
But you
years, we were
didn't.
doing co-op every Saturday together, and
And you didn't feel, you never felt the need to go out of your way to pay him more. You're like, all right, well, I'm just going to lowball the fuck out of you because you admitted that $100 is okay. Even though I know in my head that I should have paid you more or whatever. And well, you're doing this for, like, on the cheap, so maybe I should give you more money. But no, I'm going to lowball the fuck out of you because I'm that greedy.
I was paying him more than the videos we're making. The videos that we were making for that one day, the co-op videos, we're not making $100 in ad revenue. They weren't. The views had plummeted. The views on our co-op stuff had gone way, way down for the most part. So I was paying him $100 a week when we were probably.
If the videos were not doing all that good, why keep doing it then? Why keep having him have to drive all that fucking way out to your shitty ass little condo to play a game that neither of you two like that much, just for really low views and not a whole lot of money then, if that was the case. And then on top of that, you would have to pay him $100 for what? If the views really were that bad, why keep doing it like that? Why not just, I don't know, fucking know, don't do it
making
every
$50
week.
on ads. So I was out all that money, but I didn't care because I was helping my friend. You understand? Like, that's all I really cared about was helping him out. If he had asked for more, I would have given him even more. Okay?
But
So
it's
there you
on, but apparently it's on him to appear greedy and ask for more, because you know you would throw that at him as an insult. It's like, well, I was just gonna give him $100, but he was so greedy and he asked for $200. You know you would have thrown that back in his face after you two split up or whatever if he had done that, Phil.
That's plain as day the truth. I've already talked about it 2 years ago, and my story has not changed, okay? So I don't know if Joon's going to play my side or not. He's literally only playing John's side here when I have already reacted to this and given my side. We got a couple shout-outs to do. We've got Kruger Creative. Listen, I learned so... You always... Because look what happened. Everything along this whole ride where John was doing co-op with her, that he was upset about money, that he was upset about the arrangement of how he had to come to my place to film, anything about Project 7, literally nothing. He never said a word of complaint at all.
Because he's that kind of guy. He doesn't have to say something. He was being nice to you by sparing your feelings by not saying it.
Every once in a while complain, like, for example, that clip where I said, oh, I wrote that scene. He did complain about that because he was upset because it sounds like I'm taking all the credit for the show when that's not what I meant.
Which you were
But he has
trying to
detractors
do.
interjecting themselves into the conversation.
Oh,
pissing him off.
bullshit.
But outside of that, he never said a word.
It's a detractor's fault that we made you say that, and that's how it came off. It's our fault that you came off that way. You came off as a jealous piece of shit. But it's our fault you came off that way to anyone watching that. Okay, gotcha.
How would you even know that someone's upset? So you're absolutely right, Kruger. Moving forward, if I ever have about me that
Skip the
indication
tip
of work,
shit.
if there's going to be any pay involved, that was all done the wildest dreams did I expect that John Rambo years later would be making a video on the internet crapping on me, saying that I'm such an unfair person and stuff.
And I love how he like instantly assumes that like they're not telling lies, Phil. They're literally airing their grievances about having to work with you and how much of a terrible friend you were to them. They aren't purposely making this video to shit talk and spread lies about you. They were literally asked to do so by many different people, and they finally said, fine, we'll make one video about it. And they never mentioned you again after that, Phil. Funny how that goes, huh? So it's like they weren't just making up wild, like, stories that weren't true. They were literally telling the truth. But apparently telling the truth and being critical of DSP equates to shitting on him. So if you're ever, like, honest with this motherfucker, he will see it as you shitting on them. I'm like, no, they're not shitting on you. They're being honest. Because any normal person being honest with you, you will see as an attack on yourself. When in reality, like, that should, like, give alarms. If everyone in the world is against you, maybe the problem is you and not everyone else, is all I'm saying, you know?
When in reality, he never said a word to me about it in person, and I didn't think we need to make contracts because we were friends. So I definitely 100% learned my lesson on that. Thank you, Dick Jones, for gifting 5 memberships to the community. And I also received a $10 tip and one hangout session. Come over my house with my friends. I did
Skipping tips.
Situation. They made a video.
But also, virtually every time he did visit, DSP would move things towards wanting to record more Let's Plays rather than hang out outside the realm of YouTube. This all relates to the 2012 condo. From these repeat visits, John and Howard noticed many changes that really just amounted to additions.
Now, for the record, because he's going to talk about what I think amounts to jealousy, okay? But
it's
when
not.
John came over, the first thing we would do is hang out for like an hour talking. Like, just hanging out. Just say, how you doing? What's going on in your life? I'll tell him what's going on in my life. Sitting down and shooting the shit. We would do all of that before we ever turned on a camera. It was a hangout session, all right?
So,
and then in between making
what does that prove?
We got a meal and hung out together. So, was there work?
Did you make him pay for that meal, or did you feed him, Phil? Because I almost guarantee you made him pay for that meal. You didn't pay for his meal for him, probably.
Well, absolutely. But were they also hangout sessions? Yes. Now, outside of the realm of making videos for YouTube, there was a couple other things that we did to hang out. For example, we would go over Howard's house, and he would be having people play fighting games in his house. And I would go over there without a camera, without filming a piece of content, and just hanging out with them, playing games and stuff, because I was good at Street Fighter, and they liked playing against someone who was really good at Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah, because John sucked at Street Fighter, right? I was the only good person in Street Fighter there. Do you see how he makes it sound? Like, he's making it sound like, oh, I was the only good person in Street Fighter there, so these guys liked having me over so they could really go see what it's like to fight a pro. The fucking narcissism and ego on this cocksucker is insane. It really is.
So, the narrative falls apart when you actually hear the full story.
No, it doesn't.
No one wants to hear my side. Everyone just
because you're lying. Everyone knows you're lying, Phil. That's why no one gives 2 shits about what you say, because you are a known liar. That is what you are known for. That and masturbating on camera live on the internet are the 2 things you're best known for, Phil. So why would anyone trust the real story from you? I would rather trust someone who was there. I would rather trust their side of the story over yours. So I'm going to trust John. I'm going to trust Howard over your story, your side.
The negative drama side to it and emphasize that as the truth. But the truth is, a lot of this stuff is fabricated or over-exaggerated to try to prove a narrative that they're trying to prove that I'm a bad
no,
friend,
it isn't.
a bad guy.
You are.
I wasn't really invited to anything. Like, for example, there was
I wonder why he wasn't invited too much, huh?
Party that they say, hey, Phil, would you just come over to a party and hang out with us? That never happened. I'm serious.
Because you're an asshole. Because you're an asshole and you were filming everything. So they knew, oh, if I invite darksydephil over here, he's going to bring his camera and try to make like 4 vlogs about it and make money off of us by posting videos with us in it on his fucking vlog channel.
Outside of that, it wasn't like, oh, it was John's birthday and I was invited to his house and I didn't show up. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or Howard was having a cookout. That's the opposite. In fact, I did cookouts and things at my parents' house and they came. So I have no idea what they're talking about here outside of the realm that maybe they wanted to do less work, but they never said that to me. So I don't know. Okay.
Because you were using them.
We start showing up to your house, and what do we see? The guy starts buying figurines, starts buying all this ridiculous shit that there's no need to buy. Then we show up to his house.
Because it's my money, and I can do whatever I want with it, Howard. I'm the one who's working my ass off 7 days a week, pumping out tens of thousands of videos to make a lot of money.
Okay, sure. 7 days a week, Phil? I don't know. You weren't working every single day. You definitely weren't working your ass off. And it, like, maybe that's true, right? Maybe the majority of the money that he was making was not from them. But to them, you were using them to make more money, and then you were using that, spending that money to rub it in their faces. That's how it comes off. That might not be 100% true, but to them, that's how it came off, Phil. So obviously they're going to be upset. It's not a jealousy thing. They're not jealous of your shitty ass little action figures you bought, Phil. They don't care about that. But it comes off that you're rubbing your money in their face, money that you're making off of them, Phil.
So I can spend my money however I want. If you came over my house and I was wearing a fucking platinum mink robe from head to toe, and I had gaudy jewels all over me and a big metal grill on my mouth, and I had fucking cocaine all over my countertop, and I snorted it right in front of you, you can't say anything because I earned it, because it's my money.
Yeah, but you would still be showing off and rubbing it in their faces, though, Phil, and people don't like that. So yeah, technically you're right. Technically, it's your money. You can show, like, and you can spend it how you want. But at the same time, that is still fucking rubbing it in their face. That's what it is, and that's what you were doing.
That I earned being a YouTuber. What is your point?
That's being not a good friend. Not to mention the fact that you were taking advantage of them and making money off of them.
What this is, he's ranting because he was in a few playthroughs in Project 7, and he thinks that somehow the few playthroughs in Project 7 that he was involved in would have amounted to, like, him making tons of money or something. No, Howard, it wasn't. It was me busting my ass in all those gameplay videos by myself that made that money that I could buy all those figures and I could lease the BMW.
Busting my ass is insane.
You have no fucking
and, like, wait, I don't get why you would be proud of having a BMW if you don't even own it. Like, it would be one thing if he owned the BMW, right? But he leased the BMW. It's a lease. It's not, it's throwing your, well, I'm sorry, I never got the whole point of leasing a car, because you're just kind of like throwing your money away. It seems. It's like you don't own the car, you're borrowing the car. So you can't even really say it's your car, because it really isn't, right? And then you have to give it back after the lease is up. So it's like you don't ever at any point own this car or can stop paying money on it, right? Or at least if you pay to buy and own a car, at some point you'll own the car and you won't have to make any more payments, right? That's so it's like you can't even really be proud of having a Beamer, although I don't know why you would be proud of a BMW anyway when BMWs are garbage cars. Like, BMWs suck as cars, but I digress there, right? But, like, DSP thinks it's some huge status symbol that he has has a fucking BMW when it really fucking isn't. And it's like, who cares?
Point. All you're doing is you're exposing yourself for being incredibly
Hey, Doomersig, how you doing?
House one day, and what does he have in the fucking driveway? A BMW. So how the fuck do you think I feel, and how do you think these guys feel after the fact?
I don't know, because they didn't tell me. If they were jealous because I busted my ass.
It's not jealousy, Phil.
I can't help that. You know, they never asked me for anything.
You're rubbing your wealth in their face,
I'm not
Phil.
Psychic. You know, I'm not. What exactly do you want? So because I'm a YouTuber who makes money, you just want me to start giving it out to people in my life all around me.
No, they're not saying that.
Or anything like that. You just think I should just
oh my god
money around.
No, but you know what I think you should have done with that money? You probably should have saved some of that money, Phil. You probably should have, like, maybe invested some of that. Put it in like an IRA or 401k or something. Maybe bought some stocks. But knowing you probably would have lost it all on crypto like Boogie did. So, I mean,
around me. Even though people distinctly tell me upfront they don't want it. I'm like, okay.
You fucking idiot. They said they didn't want money when they first started. Things changed, Phil. So when they had a kid, one of them had a kid, they are not able to do this shit for free anymore. Now, if you had actually offered them money when things changed, they probably would have stayed on. But since you didn't, and you got sick with food poisoning, and it was on you to reschedule that appointment, and you refused to reschedule that appointment, that's basically like, okay, we're done with this guy. That's on you. Again, your fault. Not anyone else's, yours.
Yeah, I get. I mean, I really don't know what else to say in this situation. This is 100% pure jealousy exposed here.
It's not.
Saying this because again, out of all the people who had an argument, you could say maybe Respect the Pact had an argument because they did a lot of work on Project 7 that they didn't get any monetary compensation for. John got paid for his work. Maybe he was disgruntled about the amount of pay, but he never brought it up. But literally, Howard appeared in a few things with me. Every once in a while, I'd have a big bash, and he'd come over and do some gameplay with us. Again, Street Fighter stuff and Project 7, and that was it. He was the least involved of all of us. Yet he's the one who's freaking out in this video about how I had so much money and so many things, and they didn't have it or whatever. It's like, dude, you are completely exposing yourself.
He's not jealous of your stupid little knickknacks that you had on the fucking bar over there, Phil. He's not jealous of your fucking action figures. You do know that, right? Like, no one's jealous of that. No one wanted to be you, you know?
Jealous you were of me. John doesn't say any of this, by the way. This is all Howard ranting about this shit in this video.
No, but they do. Both of them did feel like they were taken advantage of because you were taking advantage of these two men. And then they see all the money you were making by you taking advantage of them. It's not a jealousy thing. How stupid are you?
About me. And he never said a word about this to me, to my face either. But the funny part about it is, now that he said this publicly, it exposed the whole relationship that we had.
Oh, it exposed.
That Howard was kind of the guy who I would invite him in. He'd always be on the fence, and a lot of the times he would cancel, or he would say he's going to do something, then he would.
Because he knew you were taking advantage of him. Why would he?
He used to invite me to the Street Fighter gatherings, and then he stopped inviting me. He had everyone else over, like John and all the other players in Connecticut.
Because you were an asshole.
Inviting me outright without.
And you were filming.
But now I know why. This was why. Because he was jealous.
Yeah, sure.
DSP
sure,
was
Phil.
spending ever more frivolous.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, I guess.
2011 40-minute condo tour. This new condo tour took a total of 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 27 seconds.
This is all true, and I do regret spending a lot of my money like I did back then. I 100% do, because if I had kept it all in savings, right, like a hoarder, then probably I wouldn't have gotten to half the financial troubles that I.
Oh, so I guess being financially frugal with your money is being a hoarder. Right? Like, as far like last time I checked, you live like a hoarder by buying all this shit. Hoarders don't hoard money. They usually hoard junk. They don't have a whole lot of money. Usually they're in trouble with a bank or in a lot of debt, and they surround themselves with shit. Sometimes figuratively and sometimes literally, which is what you did, Phil. So you were a hoarder. You probably still are a fucking hoarder. But no, being frugal with your money doesn't make you a hoarder. This just goes to show how poorly this man was raised.
I got into.
He 100% is a hoarder. And I'm one to talk because, like, I'm a bit of a hoarder. Not to the degree he is, but I collect things. But it's not junk. I have, like, a lot of, like, collector's edition of games and stuff like that. And they're worth decent amount of money now because they aren't being made now for some of them. But again, it's like I still can't say a whole lot because I do technically collect things. So
a lot of it because I never had money like that before, and I was.
I mean, at least I admit it.
Statues and clutter and shit. However, to be fair, I was also making a ton of money.
And he thought that money was gonna last forever. He thought he was always gonna make all this money. What a waste! Like. If you were making a lot of money, why didn't you save some of it?
My condo tour is 12 parts, about 15 to 20,000 views each. No exaggeration. This condo tour alone made me hundreds upon hundreds of dollars, which just buys another statue if I want it. So it wasn't like, oh, he's frivolously spending
multiple hundreds of dollars for one statue. And it's not even like a sexy statue. It's just shitty. Like, I could understand if there's like some awesome anime waifu statue. I could maybe understand that. Buying one here and there, like every couple years buy one or something, but like he was just wasting money on statues from games he didn't even like a whole lot. It wasn't even like he was just buying statues of games he really liked. These are games that he was like meh or mid or didn't rate very well, but he still got the statue for it. I'm like, Phil, you didn't even like Assassin's Creed all that much. Why do you have statues, like multiple statues for Assassin's Creed and everything?
But he's not making the money. I was making the money, and then I was frivolously spending it. You understand? This wasn't. I actually didn't even have like a credit card balance at this point in my history.
TF2 statues. Did he ever play TF2 statues?
I had savings actually at this point.
By the way, how are you doing, Ludwig?
Thousands of dollars. I think at one point I had over $40,000.
Yeah, 2012.
Okay. Okay, I received a $2.25 tip.
I mean, at least he took Panda places. I mean, granted, it wasn't that far away, but it was still places. Like, they went to, like, Seattle once or twice, and the zoo a lot. Like, I don't know, did he ever take Kat to the zoo once? I don't think he did.
From Walrus
He's probably too afraid to show her off now.
I don't think you should have said that about John in the writing the scene. It made you sound like a whole. We all
skipping tips, don't care.
Parts of how I was trying to make everyone is working on that show at all times. Funny is actually kind of discredit what I'm predator. Okay?
Skipping tips.
My problem was I fell for it hook, line, and sinker. I took all their bait, and I said all that shit publicly that I never should have said. I should have just ignored them and gave them no time whatsoever.
Yeah, because you're so good at ignoring people, right, Phil?
Really upset John.
But it's all their fault. They were just jealous. My bad.
Okay, let's continue.
On the surfaces of his apartments, sans some of the walls.
I did see his merch shop. It's so pathetic. It's somehow worse than his original merch shop with Teespring. How do you get worse than that? Yeah, like, he made over 100, like, well, he still does make over $100,000 a year, I'm pretty sure. But, like, how do you see, like, he owed all that money because he just didn't pay any of his credit cards at all. He just, like, after it got maxed, he would just put that onto a different credit card, and that would stack up, and then he would just keep maxing all these credit cards up. I'm like, it's just insane to me. He just didn't feel like paying any money. He felt that he was owed all that free money and didn't want to pay it back. Yeah, I know. Apparently all of October is Halloween to him too, right?
And ceilings, it became a challenge to now find a square inch of clear space.
He's
there
right.
was even an update on the corner, now wall full of boxes and trash.
It's now quickly become a graveyard
Oh
of
my
shit
God,
that I
look at
can't
all
even- I
this.
have nowhere to put,
He's
I have no
absolutely
use
right.
for, I can't store. I don't.
For the
Why
record,
can't you store it, first of all? And second of all, why don't you break some of these boxes down? Like, I have some boxes for, like, again, the special collector's editions of some of the games I have, or whatever, but you can break those boxes down so you can, like, have more room and stack the broken down boxes on top of each other or something, or put them in a closet or something like that, right? But no, he just leaves them all out in his living room area.
my home now looks absolutely nothing like this at all. The only part, like my office here, has shit all
No,
over
I
it.
had no idea,
And
right?
my closet is cluttered. But outside of this room, this office, my entire house is organized and clean, and that's thanks in part to my wife,
Bullshit.
but also I like to keep a clean home.
Because I have my soulmate at home, and all she does is clean for me all day long. She doesn't actually have a job or anything. I would love to. Well, if everything is so clean, Phil, why don't you do a house tour now? Where's Condo Tour 2024? Phil, what are you afraid to show? Huh? How much more extravagant shit have you bought for that falling apart cesshole you call a home? Huh? You buy all this stupid, small, insignificant shit for your house, but you won't fix half the facilities that are wrong there. You have, like, what, one working toilet? None of the showers seem to work. The place literally has mold and leaks everywhere. Probably has rotten floorboards, because I know the sink was, like, leaking under the kitchen sink, I think, or something.
Home. But me, when I was doing YouTube videos 7 days a week full time, I was a fucking mess. I was just constantly
Still are a mess.
pumping
How
shit
are you
into that
any
place. It was
better
just a
now?
Nightmare. I didn't take any time off to clean it or anything, so it just sat there, clutter.
I don't know what to do with it. All right.
Yeah, Asmon Phil, you're right. I in the past have said, oh, I heard that Asmongold lives in like a hoarder's mess of a place. My
People in
place was
glass
pretty nice. There was
houses
no trash.
shouldn't
There was
throw
no trash,
stones,
no food
Phil.
trash and shit like that. But it was a bunch of boxes and fucking shit all around me.
DSP had run out of storage for his baubles and memorabilia.
I don't know. It's too much. Too much. And the problem is I have nowhere to put this shit.
I think I'm gonna
If I
get
had somewhere to
sick
put it
from
and
this
store it,
fucking
I'd
camera
probably be able
angle.
to see it,
Jesus.
but it's all just a jumbled mess on top of my dresser. I need more room.
His
Like,
closet,
he's like, I don't know if they had them back then. But what are those, like, gyroscopes you can get for your cameras to hold the camera steady? That's what Phil needs to get. I forget what the hell they call, but it's like some kind of gyroscope, and you can put your phone on it. And so, like, no matter how much you're swaying back and forth and shaking the camera or turning it, it'll stay still no matter what. Like, and I don't know if they had those back then, probably not, but Phil really needed one of those.
even with items optimally stored, was overfilled.
Of course, he doesn't need it now because he doesn't show anything about his inside of his house. He only ever does the webcam shit now, right? But I mean, back then.
What I want to look at is just to show you what a mess the inside of my fucking closet is.
Oh my god.
Look at that nice closet space.
Look at all the boxes I've got.
Oh my god.
Phil did not value.
You know, usually closets are like to put your fucking clothes in, Phil. And again, you could hold on.
Look at that nice closet.
You could break all these boxes down. What is it? Shredder? That one girl, I can't remember her name. Tank Girl? I don't know, but you could break all these boxes down and stack them on top of each other, and that would save so much space.
What a mess the inside of my fucking closet is. I'm not gonna go all the way because my
Look at that nice closet space.
Look at all the boxes I've got.
Oh my god.
Phil did not value or understand.
Assuming he doesn't get sick again, because there's always a possibility that new strain of COVID could sneak up on him like it did last year, and then we'll never hear the fucking end of it again. Because last year it's like, oh, I got COVID, I think, even though he never got himself tested and he just claims he had COVID when really it was just a flu. But I digress. So yeah, it's like, oh, and I had this awesome, cool costume too that I bought and I ordered, and it was so cool. But I can't show you guys the costume I got, though. You're gonna have to wait till next year to see that costume. Okay, Phil, I'm sure you bought a costume, right?
And money, except when it came to others. Phil, when talking about Project 7, classifies it as a financial loss for the t-shirts he helped finance and, more importantly, the props they bought. This
So
prop
wasted
that Howard is
money on
holding
the
is an answer
props.
from the game Gears of War and cost $300. It had less than 30 seconds of screen time and was even less relevant to the plot, yet was a majority of shared expenses. He would use this and other items.
Actually, if you want to know the truth, the handgun I'm holding was more expensive than the Lancer, because the Lancer was made of plastic, and the handgun I'm using was actually like a replica gun that had like metal and other things on it. So that gun in my hand is like $4.99 from when I bought it, and it lit up and it made.
And you still have it, don't you, Phil? It's still in that fucking little nook, isn't it? I bet you it is. Because he's too fucking afraid to make an eBay account, which, newsflash, Phil, you can make an account and not say DSP in the name of that account. You could randomly call it whatever the fuck you like, and no detractor would ever figure out that it's your fucking account until it's way too late. But no, he's like impossible for DSP to make any kind of account without DSP, or they call me DSP, being in the username somewhere, right? But apparently he can't do that. He can't actually sell all this shit that he's hoarding that is still worth a lot of money that could help him to this day. Like, I bet you he still has these guns, and they're worth a shitload of money, especially today they are. But you know he's not gonna buy that because it's our fault. Everything's our fault that he can't do the bare minimum amount of work to try to like alleviate some of the debt that he is accruing and shit.
Noises and shit. We didn't use it for that in the thing, but yeah. And there was more. There was other things I bought. We were gonna have a whole sci-fi episode, and it was gonna have like scenes with Mass Effect. And I bought a life-size replica of the Avenger rifle from Mass Effect that lit up and fucking made all the sound. And that thing cost, I'm not kidding you, cost $799 because we had already had all these plans.
You wasted all this money, and you didn't even get to use it. Where is this gun right now, Phil? Where is it, huh? What happened to that? Did you sell it? Because we all know how hard it was for Phil to try to sell his shitty-ass broken statues. It was like he was getting trolled by a bunch of trolls who's like stringing him along when he was trying to sell the statues or whatever, and it was so hard for him to do that. But you're telling me that he sold those guns and stuff? I doubt it.
So I went ahead and got all the stuff, and then it got canceled after 4 episodes. So I lost a lot of money on this show. Overall.
Yeah, it's all our fault. Sure.
Why did they just get paid? Because the show didn't actually make me any money.
Because you wasted all the money
what was making me
pointlessly.
Money was the insane amount of gameplay videos that I was pumping out on a daily basis.
It would have made a lot more money if you weren't wasting all your money on these stupid props that weren't even used.
That's where all my profits were coming from. This, again, like I say right now about my DSP throwback channel, I call it like a passion project. Project 7 was meant to be a passion project that hopefully we could finance to get off the ground, and then people would see what we were capable of.
Okay, that's what's the plan the whole way, huh? Yeah, okay.
Get the word out there, and then maybe we could do other shows and shit. That was supposed to be like the whole idea. but it only got 4 episodes, and then the whole thing just fell apart. So it ended up being a giant loss. for
because
me.
you didn't
You
want to
guys
pay
didn't do
them.
anything besides time. Respect the Pack are the biggest losers because in this situation, because they worked on it the most with all the editing and everything. And again,
Oh, it was more than just editing, Phil. That was a lot of CG work, and that took a lot of fucking time back then.
I feel bad because yes, I do feel like I should have paid them. If they had asked, I would have. We never had the conversation. If they said,
I know, right, Sammy? Like, sometimes he just gets under your skin and you just like, can I just have to take a baseball bat to his face or something? Just one swing, you know?
that we didn't or whatever, that's a complete lie.
I don't want
I'm
to
sorry
kill
that
him
they
or
lied about
anything.
that because they were so
I
angry
just
or upset or salty about the situation. But
want
that's
one
totally not
good
what happened
hit.
at all. That's complete bullshit. Doug Savona, thank you for.
Or if I can go back in time and actually like show Jaha the man that he is now, and then Jaha wouldn't have hesitated and actually would have hit him. Because maybe Phil would have learned something from that. I doubt it, but maybe he would have.
This is for you, King. Thank you, Doug.
Maybe he'd be a totally different person today if
$2
Jaha
for
actually went through with
jealous
it.
bum. He's not a bum, but I do feel like he had a lot of resentment and jealousy towards me that he would never vocally.
No, you're a
say.
bum,
It was
Phil.
passive aggression. I feel. Guys, if you're here tonight, please click like on the stream.
Oh my god, more begging.
Tips, so if we can hit that, that would be.
It's more about respect and being fair.
It's about respect, man. You have no respect for your friends, for your family. You don't give a shit about anybody but yourself.
And that's still true today, isn't it, Phil?
But he didn't justify that statement. All he did was say it, but he never justified it.
Because it's so obvious to any normal person, Phil. Only you don't understand it. I don't know what I did wrong.
What are
you did
talking about?
everything
When did
wrong.
I ever disrespect everyone around me? What? My family didn't have any issues with me. These guys never even said they had an issue
No, he's a pussy in real life. He would like curl up in the fetal position the second you even smacked it.
with me. So what are you talking about? He's
Just like a light slap, and he'd be like, "Oh, don't hit me! I'm sorry, I'm pathetic," and curl up in a little fucking ball on the floor. You know he
trying to
would.
be overly crazy dramatic to basically say this is the end. I don't ever want to have anything to do with Phil again. So he says this over the top statement, but where's the justification for what you just said? You don't
It's
even have it.
everywhere.
And
Look
again,
at your past. Look at any video you've made, and people could understand it. People would get that.
if this legit was John Rambo saying that, minimal input and work done on my channel.
Oh,
Minimal.
hand
I've
on my
said it.
heart, guys. I'm
Here,
telling
there,
the
that.
truth right
That's
here. Oh my
stupid.
gosh, I'm
But
so
who are you?
honest.
Why are you interjecting yourself into the friendship that I had with John and into this conversation at all? You're the last
I didn't
fucking
know you
person
at
to open
all,
your
even though
mouth.
we were in numerous videos together. We all hung out together. How many conventions did we go together? And didn't they go to WrestleMania too? Like they spent all this time together, but oh, what are you
Both
doing?
Respect the Pack and John.
He's
did more for
acting
my
like
content than you
Howard
ever
didn't
did.
know him at
So go
all.
fuck yourself, man. Seriously, like
He
get the
knew
fuck
him.
outta
He
here
knew
with
you
this
well
disingenuous
enough.
bullshit because you want to look like an internet tough guy.
Oh
There were
yeah,
plenty
that's
of
it.
examples of DSP's poor spending habits. Few trump his 3 custom-made quilts. These quilts, individually and also factoring inflation, cost Phil a minimum of $1,000.
Let me think about that. Probably right. He's probably right because they were very expensive. Yes, but keep in mind, I was debt free outside of paying my mortgage.
Okay, yeah, sure you were. Wait, how were you debt free back then, Phil? Was this before you racked up $200,000?
Mortgage on my condo and this lease that I had on the BMW. I was debt free. I didn't have any credit card debt. I was making more than enough money to pay for all of this out of pocket. This was
So
not me
supposedly
racking up
this is
any kind of
before
debt.
the credit
But
card debt.
He's saying basically this is laying the groundwork for overspending habits. I think that's what he's saying. So let's continue.
Yeah, aka all the money you spend in WWE Champions to this
How
day.
much was Phil earning?
The good news is this, okay? I'm an intelligent person. I'm a finance major.
Imagine over your online career making over $1 million and having literally nothing to show for it. Literally nothing to show for it. Like, you don't own a car. Oh, wait, he might actually own the Toyota now, actually, I think. At the time, he didn't own a car. Now he owns a used generic Toyota Corolla, which probably has a shitload of miles on it. He doesn't really own, I mean, he's still paying mortgage on his condo. So that's not technically owned until that's paid off, right? So he doesn't own a house or condo yet. And all he really has to show for it is like a shitty used Toyota Corolla and a bunch of little fucking broken statues. That's all you have to show for making over $1 million in your career. Honestly, it's probably closer to 2 million at this point altogether. I wonder if you added up all the money he's made since he started making money on YouTube, how much it would be. Probably over $1 million at least, though. I've never actually seen Gumball, but I heard it was pretty funny
went to
actually.
school for finance. I knew day one when I started making money off of YouTube that I was going to bank it. I was not going to go out there and invest in things that I couldn't get money out of.
Sure, Phil. What happened to that?
Buy a super overexpensive house, and I didn't go out. And
You should have, Phil. You should have actually bought an actual house. Because if you had enough money to buy a house in cash. Imagine that. Imagine having enough money that you could buy a house in cash. And if he bought a house back then, like, even if he trashed that house, it would still be worth more now than it would ever have been worth back then. Oh, I bought like a $60,000 starter home back then in Connecticut, right? Today that'd be worth like $300,000 at least, probably more, knowing how shitty the housing market is right now. Like, even if you like did end up moving and just rented out the house or something like that, that would be a smarter move than fucking buying a shitty condo and defaulting on it. You can't sell that. He could have paid it off a fucking house. Like, it doesn't have to be a fancy house. Like, just a normal starter home or whatever would have been fine. With the inflation and how bad fucking the economy is right now, that would have been money in the bank. That would have been a great investment for you. No, instead he wasted all of it.
a sports car. Yes, I am driving a BMW, but it's actually a lot more economical than people really think.
On DSPGaming alone, for the year of 2012...
And he still thinks a BMW is like an amazing fucking car when it isn't. I'm like, maybe if you had bought in, like, I mean, the car he has now, the Toyota Corolla, is more economical than a fucking BMW is. Because it gets better gas mileage.
He got 85.19 million views. Dividing that by 1,000 is 85,190. Multiplying that by $2, not $2.25, which it could sometimes be, but $2 as a base CPM for Machinima, excluding the possibility of bonuses, would mean that he made a gross of $170,380 for 2012.
Probably close to true. I don't know if that's exactly true, but it's probably very
Yeah, because you don't know what the fuck you're making. You don't even look at your what you're earning. You just throw all your receipts at a tax attorney and hope they do their job right. And then when they don't do their job right, then you could just blame them for everything instead of actually, you know, doing your own taxes yourself or anything like that.
close. I think my best earning year was 2011. That was the year that I made.
How do you not know how much you make in a year? I mean, to be fair, this was in 2012. I don't remember what I made in 2012. So I'm going to give him leniency on that. But, like, I mean, on a year-to-year basis, like, when you're doing your well, I mean, he doesn't do his taxes. But, like, I do my taxes by myself, and it's really easy. But it tells you how much you make right there on your W-2. Oh, wait. But he doesn't get a W-2 because he doesn't have a real job. My bad, I forgot.
2013 went down a little, and then 2014...
I'm pretty sure they still give him some kind of paper, though, saying how much he's made from YouTube, though. You would imagine. For when you do have to go and file your taxes or whatever.
2015 it went down more, and then it just plummeted after 2015 because of the copyright strikes, which I'm sure we'll get to. By the way, thank you, Hard Nose, who gifted a membership and went to Harakiri Rock. Enjoy Harakiri Rock.
I don't
Sometimes
care.
earning $2.25 per 1,000 views to a base $2.
In the year of 2012, my views really have dwindled. And what I mean is, I believe in the year of 2011...
If he thought they were dwindling then, I wish this past Phil could see where his views are today. I would love to see that. He would be like, what the fuck happened? I thought they were bad now, but what the fuck happens in 2024?
I probably got...
I'm dressing up for money? What? Why would I do that? I'm a fucking clown now.
somewhere over like 10 to 11 million views on DSPGaming, and then in 2012 I only...
Yeah, the
barely
world
reached,
ended
like,
in 2012, and then I guess the people in CERN moved us to a different parallel timeline, apparently. So now we're on, like, an alternative timeline, but technically the world ended then, if you believe conspiracy
5 million or
theorists.
something like that. I don't think the final number is in yet.
DSP lied and understates his views by nearly tenfold. Not only...
I probably was talking about monthly, is what I was saying. I'm not talking about overall in the year. I think that would meant like by month. Because the highest I ever did on DSPGaming was over 10 million. Because Machinima, I remember, specifically paid a bonus when
It's
you got over
over
10 million.
9,000!
And so I think, at least, again, I don't even know what video that is. I think I'm stating like monthly. the highest I ever did, I was bringing in like 10, 11 million views a month. But then in the next year, it did go way down. So no, that's not me miscalculating. That's me saying monthly. Maybe I didn't say monthly in the video, but that's what I probably meant, I would think.
Is this proven incorrect by archives such as Social Blade? This is proven incorrect directly on his own YouTube channel, where
Right.
there are screenshots from the start of
Right, because I'm telling you, probably meant monthly. It's not a big deal.
2012 to the beginning of 2013 that shows he got nearly 90 million views. It was also here that Phil was toting his financial responsibility.
You don't see me here with super expensive clothes on or anything, and you don't see me wearing jewelry and shit. You know, I'm smart. I banked my money.
Yeah, I'm not buying like useful items like fancy nice clothing or like a nice watch or something, although he did buy a nice watch. But I digress. He never wore it, but he did buy an expensive watch. But I digress. Like, you don't find me buying useful stuff. I'm just buying stupid shit like all these statues and shit.
So
I did.
regardless of what happens in this next year, I'm still okay. So I just want everyone to understand that.
Phil was ever confident that, even though he was now riding a downward trend, he could survive. His tune would change in the coming months as he would have to navigate troubles that were exclusive to him and the culture he was inadvertently
I love
creating.
these pitchforks in hell.
All right,
What
this
could
is
be
the
They're coming
troll
for
arc.
you,
Yes,
Phil.
Here we go. Here comes the troll arc. This is probably the arc that I will learn most from because
Oh,
again,
you're not gonna
I
learn
didn't
shit
think
from.
I-
Shut up.
For the most part, exaggerated or to like
Play the video,
why he
Phil.
would've
I don't
made
want to
this
hear
list
you
up.
coping.
The two reasons. There are two underlying reasons why he would have made this video. Come on. So I didn't want to fucking restart the game. Number one, he's just insanely jealous of me. I love it.
Yes, because anyone who dares to be critical of the king has to just be jealous of him. It can't be a actual point they have or actual valid criticism. No. They're just jealous. It's all jealousy, you know.
The other is that the guy is one of these gamers, like I mentioned, who play the games to feel accomplishment. What the?
So this is me.
It's not about feeling accomplishment. It's about you not understanding how to play a game, Phil. How about failing so hard? They weren't upset because you weren't playing the game at super speedrunner levels. It's you not even understanding how to play the game at all.
I think this is me reacting to This Is How You Don't Play, a series that he's probably about to explain, June.
Oh, I like conspiracy theories too. That doesn't mean I believe in the conspiracy theories, but it was always fun to me to like listen to different conspiracy theories. And like in my head, I always rate them on like a scale of like 1 to 10 in terms of plausibility of them. But that doesn't mean I always believe any of them. There's like only very few that I actually believe.
And this is completely, now I know, 12 plus years later, this is insanely stupid. This is the worst way I could have possibly gone about reacting to this kind of stuff. I went about it every way possibly wrong, okay? I'll say it up front before. I'm sure I'm about to be cringing and be embarrassed with this, along with all of you, because I was a complete moron the way that I tried to handle this. Okay.
The fuck?
Where's my M9?
On February 15, 2013, YouTube user EvilAJ2010, in direct response to Phil claiming his videos are well received, uploaded a compilation of Phil's Metal Gear Solid 2 playthroughs with only the clips of his failures or Phil's obscene commentary.
And I think this is the one that I originally saw. Like, so I was watching, I think I said this before, but I was watching REE-ACK, which was Chip and Ironicus, were two people that would watch really bad Let's Players failing at Let's Playing. That was their whole it was called REE-ACK. It's spelled wrong, obviously, on purpose. And they would just showcase a bunch of really bad Let's Players, and I would watch it because it was funny, and they would make fun of the Let's Players a bit, like in a lighthearted manner. It wasn't like trolling, you know what I mean? And that they eventually did one video, and that was This Is How You Don't Play Metal Gear Solid 2, but it was just like a clip of it. It wasn't the whole thing. And that's what I first found out about DSP, and I was like, there's no way this guy could be real. Like, this has to be a character of his, right? I swore this guy was doing a character. And it's not even because of Metal Gear Solid. I'm not even a fan of Metal Gear Solid, right? I don't really like the game series that much because I'm not into stealth. I'm not a big stealth fan in video games. So I never really played them. But I admit that I don't play them. I don't know a whole lot about the game. But I could tell instantly where the fuck, like, I know where to, like, it's right there. Like, the M9 was right there. How did he not see that? You know what I mean? It's like, and it's just like, I know what what playing the game well looks like. So I'm like, I could tell good from bad gameplay from Metal Gear Solid, right? And I'm like, how could he be playing this game this poorly? This guy has to be like some kind of character or something. I don't know. And then I went and checked it out and watched more of This Is How You Don't Play. So I'm like, this guy is fucking real? Like, this is legit, huh? Yeah, I could do like a conspiracy theory stream someday. That would sounds like fun. Maybe like have like a tier list of like different like one of those tier makers of like the different conspiracies and rate them or something. That sounds like it'd be fun.
Even with that considered, the supercut was nearly an hour long. In addition to this, it included AJ's own text commentary and images of many comments found under Phil's original Let's Play. Where many channels failed to capture the negative yet entertaining aspects of Phil, AJ was succeeding. A month later, in March, his video was up to 77,000 views, and word was spreading.
DSP is a weird guy. It's like a train wreck that you can't look away from, that's on every day, 10 times a day.
24 hours.
Oh, come on, guys.
I mean, it's still true to this
I don't
day.
know who two best friends play are, but yeah, this kind of stuff started happening. Like, people started seeing This Is How You Don't Play, and this was their reaction. Everyone started talking about it, that they love This Is How You Don't Play.
Because no one heard of you before. Like, This Is How You Don't Play spread your name around. Before This Is How You Don't Play, no one knew who this guy was. Except for a small handful of loyal fans, even back then. But outside of that, no one knew who this fucker was.
Because it highlights me in the most negative way possible as an inept gamer and a moron, you know, completely ignoring the good parts of my playthroughs. And they loved
I
that.
think I would get banned from YouTube if I did that,
again,
though.
Up to this point, 2008 to like 2012, 2013, was like, everyone liked
Because
DSP.
even
There
mentioning
were some
that
people who were just
word
don't,
would probably
but for
get
the
me
most part,
banned.
Everyone's laughing with him. It's a great ride. 2013, when This Is How You Don't Play began, it started to be, we're laughing at Phil now rather than with him. He's the butt of the joke. He's the loser.
Why would they
Why does he
laugh
have
with
success?
you
Because
when
we're
you don't
smug
even
users and we're
laugh
a content
with
creator.
yourself?
And this is where all the waves of negativity started. And like you see, other
It's
YouTubers
all
are
our
reacting
fault. It's all the
basically
trolls'
to
fault.
those kind
Okay.
of videos in this way and talking negatively about me. And this big meme that Phil sucks started around this time.
And it's true. It's still true to this day. You get worse and worse in video games.
So successful was both external to Metal Gear Solid and internal. The external elements that bring interest are that DSP has continuously bled viewers through his lack of editing, refusal to use a capture card, and poor gameplay. The elements that are internal, and why Metal Gear Solid was the perfect game to capture the essence of Phil, is foremost that Kojima, the person that heads the creation of the series, is well respected within the gaming community, as are his creations. The Metal Gear Solid series chiefly requires critical thinking, as it is required to appropriately
Which
employ
Phil
every
does
item in
not
the arsenal,
have.
as well as to react quickly in tense situations. It also requires
I
patience
love
to
that.
be able to learn
Like,
enemy
where
patrol,
are you
to
going,
react quickly
Phil?
in tense
He
situations.
won't see
It
me.
also
I'm
requires
crouching.
patience to be able to learn enemy patrol patterns or learn from
I'm
one's
crawling. You
mistakes.
can't see
Phil
me.
lacks severely in both of these fields and approached Metal Gear Solid 2 as an action game.
He was
Forcing
right
his
there,
way
just
through
walked
situations
right
that
into it.
require nuanced
Jesus
approaches,
Christ.
all while criticizing
And then he was
Kojima.
trying to play it like a
Kojima
fighting
wants to
game.
make movies. Kojima does not want to make video games. He will really, you could tell, he wanted to make a bunch of long movies or miniseries of this stuff.
Evil AJ, in April and July, will go on to release This Is How You Don't Play Metal Gear Solid 3 and Metal Gear Solid 1 respectively. This manifestation of dislike of Phil could not have come at a worse time for him. Not only were his views plummeting, unrelated to AJ, he was also desperate to staunch the loss of viewership to the point he finally caved in and began using a capture card.
Ah, finally.
He also began live streaming, though he was still not editing
Although he
his
took way
playthroughs
too
and
fucking
pushing out more
long to do
videos than
so.
the average person cared to watch. Phil was still steeply behind on the curve, losing viewership to rising Let's Players.
Yep.
This, how many more people are doing Let's Plays? Like, it's ridiculous the amount of people who have gotten into it, to the point where a website like YouTube, unfortunately, doesn't really feature anyone but the top 2 or 3 guys who are doing it. I mean, let's face it. Why do you always see the same people in related videos, featured videos? For the person who's not at the tippy top, it's so hard for people to get noticed now on YouTube.
Oh, were you expecting something else?
The irony is that Phil's accumulated viership was influencing the algorithm to keep advertising his content. The
Okay, I want to do some shout outs before I get too back.
Skipping.
Holy Kojima. Even that's time where
I don't really care about your tips, Phil.
And this is going to understand the. So that's his story. His story is that I'm bad with money. So expect more.
You are bad with money. That's not just a story.
Person who would say, "Oh no, I lost views. Stop my feet. Oh man." But I would say, "No, I'm gonna stay positive. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing."
Positive,
was
my
losing
ass.
viewership and supporters. Chris, or Mighty Furtado, the 18-year-old that co-made DSP's website and was responsible for building his computer, actually had a falling out with DSP. Starting with Chris calling
I love
responsible for
that.
building his computer, actually had a falling out with DSP.
A falling gout with DSP? That's what it sounds like. Hold on, let me check one more.
Made DSP's website and was responsible for building his computer, actually had a falling out with DSP.
Falling
Starting
gout.
with Chris calling DSP lazy for initially not wanting to adapt
He
to
was
direct
lazy.
capture.
That is true. If I remember correctly, He insulted me
That
first,
is
and it started
true.
this whole like
Okay.
feud between us. But let's see, because I don't really remember the situation.
A
I wanna see
feud. Yeah, it was a
Joon dug up here on
feud.
this.
which DSP demanded an apology for. At that point, Chris had had enough and stopped supporting DSP, leaving DSP to purchase the domain back.
Whenever I tried to help, he kind of just shat on me for it. So at that point, I was like, why am I going to support somebody who I've been trying to help for so many years? You know,
Whenever I tried to help, he shat on me for it. You didn't try to help. He was saying things like DSP is a dinosaur because he's not doing direct capture.
It's still criticism, or yeah, criticism, Phil. It's still offering like advice, and you refusing to take that advice.
And live streaming. I actually just had this very same conversation with Keemstar the other day when I interviewed him. Okay, I'm the kind of guy that if you talk to me with respect and being nice, I will listen to you and I will actually cherish your opinions and your criticism.
You know, come to think of it, I don't think I've ever played a single Hideo Kojima game. Now that I'm thinking about it, because Death Stranding didn't really appeal to me at all. I wasn't really big on Metal Gear Solid. So I don't think I've ever actually played any of his games.
If you come
And
at
no,
me
I
in a
don't.
very
I haven't
negative
seen
way,
Markiplier's mom. I don't really even
trolling,
watch
insults,
Markiplier that
I'm
much.
literally going to shut you off, even if what you're saying is valid. I don't care. You came at me in a very negative way. It's the golden rule. Treat
Unless they're like playing a game that I'm interested in, maybe I'll check it out. Like I've seen a couple of his videos, but I don't regularly watch them
others
every
how you
day.
want
Or
to be treated, right? I'm sure that he wouldn't have wanted me to immediately say, "Hey, man, you're an asshole." Blah blah blah. Here's what you need to improve. Wait, what? But you prefaced it saying that I'm an asshole.
Yeah, I forgot. Like in order to give Phil like any kind of criticism or advice, you have to kiss his ass. Right? I forgot. My bad.
Right? So if you preface it saying that I'm a dinosaur, I'm not going to listen to you. All right? In his mind,
And it still is fucked up, and it's still lingering in your. It's living in your head rent free to this day, isn't it, Phil? Even to this day, you're upset at being called a fucking dinosaur, and that's exactly what you are. You're a fucking boomer when it comes to technology, Phil.
maybe he thinks I'm helping Phil. But if you come at me in a negative, awful way, I'm not going to give
Exactly.
a crap about what
It's
you're saying.
like
No, I
he said
co-created the
this in
website.
what was it? What was it like 2012, 2013, and it's still living rent free in his head to this day.
Co-created his forums, co-built his gaming PC. I've helped him so much, and when I try to help him try to adapt to direct capture, he's not kind of really taking the suggestions from myself as well as everybody else in the chat during that time.
It doesn't end there. With Chris now persona non grata, DSP made extreme claims without evidence about the price of the PC Chris had built. Chris, not pleased with this, made a video in response.
He had made a video basically stating that he had sent us apparently $3,000, and that wasn't the case.
Here's, I think, the video in question. Someone sent this to me this morning.
Yeah, you couldn't be asked to find it yourself. You had to rely on a fan to send it to you, huh?
This is the video. I'm going to show it to you.
And this is the video,
September 8th,
okay?
2013. Okay? This was a channel update that I made addressing the negativity. And this
Look at
was
this ugly
directly
motherfucker, too.
addressing the situation with
Just listen once. Your wish will come true. Music. Tranquil, relaxing music. Potato ma chere, a part AI song. Why I hate bread tubers. What the fuck is a bread tuber? How Crash Bandicoot hacked the original PlayStation. Top 10 Batman. Tuesday Night Live. Bin Buster.
this man, Mighty Furtado. Okay? I think I have the timestamp right, but let's listen. Okay? Looked amazing. Had these lights and all these bells and whistles, had everything that I wanted. But I was looking at it, and it has this door. I don't know if you guys know, but on a lot of PC cases, there's a door on the front. You open the door, and inside you'll have your CD
I don't think
drive,
you know
your
that,
keyboards
Phil.
and stuff like that. The door had a big crack on it. And I was looking at it like, how did that happen? Okay? But I didn't question it. So maybe, unfortunately, the case, you know, I think this is the timestamp because someone sent me the video this morning. We found it, but this may not be the timestamp.
Oh my god, he doesn't even have it at the right time.
I thought Chris would have told me that this case has a giant.
Yeah, there's no possible way it could have got slightly damaged during shipping, though, right, Phil? There's no possible way it might have got jostled a little bit in shipping and that created a little chip or crack in it, huh? No, he purposely sent you a fucked up PC, right? That's the more logical conclusion we can draw here.
Crack on the front of it, but he never did, all right? So I finally hooked the thing up. Come to find out, when I finally booted the thing up, okay? This is what I wanted. I wanted the amount, because I say the amount in the video here, but I can't find it. I think it was... Shit, I wish I had saved the tip message. Hold on, let me go back a little bit.
we might want to have this amount of RAM, because if you're going to be doing that amount of video editing, you might need this amount of RAM, okay? So initially, what I wanted to be maybe between $700 to $1,000. By all that's said and done, first of all, I can't even tell you what it cost because I can't find the damn receipts. Chris actually, when the PC was done, he mailed me all the receipts to prove that he obviously didn't waste my money, which he didn't. He did not, absolutely
Was
not.
that email or was that regular mail? Because if that was the email, you can still search for it on email.
He was very upfront, transparent with what he did when he built that PC. He sent me all the receipts. It's filed away in literally thousands of documents, and I can't find it right now. But
Can't be asked to find it,
yeah. I went on my PayPal to see how much money I sent to him directly through PayPal to build this PC. It ended up that I paid him almost $1,600 to build this PC.
Not $3,000.
Okay.
Not $3,000.
So, on September 8th, 2013, I said publicly in a video addressing the negativity. This is in regards to this Mighty Furtado guy constantly going out and saying negative things about me, criticizing me, saying I'm a dinosaur, basically like doing a whole bunch of negative things towards.
So we have to trust your word and only your word once again. Pretty convenient, huh?
I'm like frustrated at my wit's end. I don't want to have to make this video. I just want to move on with my life and do content. You know, at this point, I've already paid the $1,600.
It was in a bag when he showed the when they showed the PC.
The RAM didn't work. The door case was cracked, and there were
Yeah, he probably broke it himself. Then it was in a fucking bag because obviously it didn't ship in a bag. So he probably busted it himself by like trying to bring it upstairs or something.
Issues with it too. I just fuck it. What am I gonna do? Why am I gonna sit here and keep talking about it? This guy kept talking and wouldn't shut up. He basically became kind of a detractor as a result of the situation.
Because you made him into one.
He never really disproved the fact that the door was cracked when it showed up, that half the RAM was either misinstalled or didn't work. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so for the whole RAM thing, when I was making my PC with my boyfriend, right? Because he's the one who knows more about like building PCs than I do. I know how to use PCs, but I don't really know much about the actual hardware and how to actually build it. I know a little bit, but whatever. So he bought it, and I currently have 32 gigs of RAM. But when you first buy it, it said it was 16 gigs of RAM. So you have to go into like the whole system BIOS to like overclock it, right? And then once you overclock the RAM, it goes to 32 gigs, is my understanding of it. So that's probably what happened here. He was supposed to overclock the RAM for its maximum amount of efficiency being whatever it was supposed to be, or whatever Phil wanted it to be at. But he didn't know how to do that. And I'm not shitting on him for not knowing how to do that, because I didn't know how to do that. My boyfriend had to do it, right? So I'm not shitting on him for not understanding that, but it probably did have the right amount of RAM in it. It probably wasn't broken. It probably was just you had to overclock it, or it was possible it wasn't pushed in all the way, because sometimes they get loose and you just have to push it back in, right? So it's like it's one of those two things, but it probably had the right amount of RAM in it, and he just didn't know how to access it.
And like it had all these issues. So, you know, for him it was like I must have said the wrong amount of money.
Like he really thinks there's no possible way for a computer that's being shipped across states to possibly not be slightly damaged in any way. Oh no, it couldn't have been the USPS's fault. No. Chris purposely bought a PC that had a cracked door on it, knew it was there, and shipped it anyway to frit the cost of the $1,600 that I sent him. Okay,
in reality, I don't know what I spent on the PC. I don't have receipts for it anymore. I say in this video, September 8, 2013, $1,600. People in chat are saying, oh, there's other videos in the future where you said $3,000. Maybe I did. Maybe I was.
No, he didn't try to reseat the RAM at all. Of course
You're
not.
right. Maybe I'm wrong. But this is the original video where I addressed it, and I said $1,600. Okay? So what information are we?
And he probably got ripped off because, like I think my PC cost around $1,600. Honestly, it was like around $1,700, and obviously currently, well, I mean, I made mine after the fact, but like back then, isn't like for what was it, 2012? Isn't $1,600 a bit high for 2012? And, like considering what he did get. So I mean, I'm not saying Furtado ripped him off, but DSP probably didn't understand what he wanted. And I don't know.
This becomes some big fucking controversy. I said $1,600 right here, black and white. I said I went through.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to believe you from back then, though, right? Because you weren't lying back then.
So there it is.
Now let's continue with this.
The actual amount a DSP paid for the PC, as shown through Chris's receipt and a few $100s extra that was sent, was off by a maliciously large margin.
So he's showing $1,200 and I'm saying $1,600. So we're off by that. But keep in mind, I said I checked my PayPal. So that was every transaction towards him from PayPal amounted to around $1,600. Probably a little
You
under, right?
said you checked your PayPal. Who knows if you actually did or if you just rounding up?
There's other things involved. They're shipping. I don't know.
So I had actually made my own video defending myself, and I had shown the PayPal receipts of DSP sending the $1,600.
DSP to this day cannot provide evidence or reason why he claimed the PC cost $1,400 more than it actually did.
I have no idea. I showed you the original video where I said it was $1,600.
Because you were probably lying at the time, dude.
Maybe, I don't know. I literally have no idea.
I don't know.
I can tell you, all I can tell you, because again, this is from like 2013, so this is over 11 years ago. I remember feeling like I really got screwed in this situation, okay? I went out of my way to build a PC with this guy. I could have went with a reputable company, okay? Let me go full screen for this. I'm going to talk for just a little bit.
Oh my
I could have
God.
easily gone with a reputable company.
And you got screwed with that too. Didn't CyberPower screw you on that also? Wasn't there a chip on the CyberPower PC also? On the top of it this time? Or something? If I recall correctly. Yeah, you got overcharged with CyberPower too, so who cares?
Probably would have charged me around the same. Remember, I said in the video right there, I only wanted to go maybe $700 to $1,000, maybe $1,200. I wasn't expecting to spend $1,600 on this thing. And as I was working with this guy, Mighty Furtado, basically he was like, well, if you want this, you got to spend more. If you want this, you got to spend more. To just get
That's
adding
how
up,
it
adding
works. That like he wasn't just making shit up. You got to get the right parts to fit to complement the parts you wanted. If you get this part, you're gonna have to get this part because it's complementary to it. That like not every single PC part will automatically fit with any other PC part. You got to get ones that work together.
adding up. By the time that I gave him the money, I was not happy, but I was like, as long as the PC does what it's supposed to do, I guess it's fine in the end, right? I kind of felt like he was kind of leading me along. I get the PC and it's all fucked up. The door has a crack. The fucking half the RAM doesn't work in the PC. And it's like,
That's
dude,
your
so not only did I
fault. You
lose
didn't
that
know how to
minimum
do
money I
it.
was expecting or wanted to spend, but now he hosed me. He gave me a PC that's fucked up. So I
Uh-huh.
call him out on it, and he freaks out like I'm a villain for saying facts about the situation.
It wasn't
okay?
facts. You were just a
In the original
retard
video, I
and
said
didn't understand
1600.
how to do
I
it.
will guarantee you there will be people who will now say, well, we have all this evidence you said $3,000. Fine. I'm not going to be here to dispute what I said or didn't say because I'm not going to sit here and go through my history of videos. I have no idea why I ever would have said $3,000, whether it was confusion, whether it was me misremembering, because all I can really remember is the emotion behind the situation. And I was just like, at every time that I thought the situation was over, someone would be like, hey, Phil, did you hear the new
Ignorant.
video Mighty Furtado made about you today, making fun of you again? Did you hear that he's hating on you again? Did you hear? I was like, what the fuck are we still talking about Mighty Furtado for? I bought the website from him, so it's not in his hands anymore. He already hosed me for the PC. Why is this still a
He
discussion?
didn't hose you
People
at
just kept bringing it up.
all.
The guy like wouldn't
You
shut
an
up about
idiot.
me. So it was an ongoing thing. He was getting internet notoriety for being a hater of mine, and it pissed me off. And I just wanted to be over, and it kept going on and on. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, over 11 years later. I have not spoken a word about this man in how long? And in this fucking documentary, it's coming up again. Again. Listen, I don't give a fuck about...
Because it's part of your history, Phil. You're upset that something that happened a long time ago that is part of you on YouTube. And this whole documentary was supposed to be your entire past on YouTube, your online YouTube career, right? So what? Should Joon the King have not added this part, have omitted certain things that have happened in your past, just skipped it and not be a professional about it? No, it was an event that happened in your past. It wasn't that big of an event, but it was still something that happened. He's going to cover it. Why are you freaking out and acting like how dare they bring this shit up again? What did you think was going to happen? This is a Joon the King documentary. He's going over your entire past on YouTube. Of course he's going to bring up everything that happened since then. Phil, why are you surprised that he brought this up? I'll be right back. I have to get some water. I'll be like literally this in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, dude, it's like he made one video. It's not like he made a bunch of videos. He made one video about it, defending himself because Phil was lying. All right, let's continue.
The PC, all right? I don't give a fuck about it. I don't give a fuck that I got ripped off or whatever. Here's what I want to do. Mighty Furtado, I want you to move the fuck on with your life and leave me the fuck alone, because at this point, this is weird shit.
Am I misunderstanding something? Why is he acting like Furtado was, like, recently said something? Am I misunderstanding that? Like, I'm under the impression that Furtado has moved on and he hasn't mentioned anything about you since then. Correct? I thought those voice clips that we heard was from the original video that he made back in the day. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe Joon actually got an interview with Furtado, maybe. But I was under the impression those voice clips were from his old video.
11 years later, and you're talking about this? Are you out of your mind?
You were still
like,
talking Bringo Lupo shit,
I have not
too.
mentioned this in so long, I don't even remember the situation to defend myself of why I would have said one thing and another. But you saw the original response I had. I said it was 1600. It should have ended there. He kept going, and that's why the situation continued, and that's likely why I probably
kept going with one video, but he kept going.
No fucking idea. All right? If you
what
have
an
evidence,
ungrateful fucker, you know?
then I made it up, or I misremembered, or I lied, whatever it is. Who knows? I don't know, but I don't.
Wait, hold on. The audio's current bitrate. Can you still hear me? Because YouTube is saying the audio stream's current bitrate is 0. Hold on. I think I still do. Let me just check really quick and make sure it's still working. But yeah, what a spoiled little bitch. Alright, 1 second. Testing. Hello. Alright, 1 second. Testing. No, it's still working. I don't know why it's giving me... Oh. I don't know why it's giving me issues. Alright, Phil, come on.
I don't give a fuck. About 11 years ago, this fucking PC. This is 2 PCs ago now. Right? Why the fuck do I care about it today? It was a dumb, stupid little thing that was a blip for me, but then became a giant, annoying thing as people who didn't like me made it into a giant molehill out of this tiny little, you know what I mean?
He is acting like us detractors are still talking about this to this day. Like, we're only talking about it because you're talking about it, and you're only talking about it because Joon the King brought it up in a documentary about your entire YouTube career. So are you confused as to why Joon the King brought it up in the first place? Because guess what? He's bringing up everything. That's the point. You regard. So why are you confused?
Or excuse me, made it a mountain out of a molehill. That's exactly what it was. Okay? Anyway, let's do some shout-outs. We've got
oh my god.
Gasm. Get aggressive. I feel like it's an attack. It's something that I proved. $3,000, you lied, so admit it. If I ever said $3,000, I lied. You're right. I see a video at the very beginning of this feud happening where I said 1600. So that's the evidence I have. So I said 1600 in a video I just watched. That literally happened at the beginning of the situation. So if ever I said it after 3000, I guess I've just proved myself that I lied about it after, correct? But originally the video I put out said 1600. And then the situation continued because he wouldn't shut up. I didn't care. Why would I keep talking about it? He's the one who kept bringing shit up and being a detractor of mine. It wasn't me talking about him, okay? Okay. Cave Teeth to the super chat. Only 1600. Phil is now Fitler. This is days. This is 2013, and I just wanted to move on. It doesn't exist to me anymore. I bought the website. I bought the PC. He's out of my life. Why
is he still so upset about this?
He's what it was. They knew that it got my goat, so they kept.
It's why is it getting your goat though, Phil? Why are you still so upset? Is this one of those like lifelong grudges that Phil constantly makes? It's like you even remotely think about wronging Phil and he will hold on to that grudge for the rest of his fucking life. Look at Duty. He was just laughing at you. It's not like he fucking swatted you or did any, like, touch the poo or actually tried to, like, do any harm to you in any way other than laughing at you. And, you, like, he lives fucking rent-free in his head, right? Like, all the time now. He's trying to make Duty out to be the next Tevin, this big, bad, scary detractor guy, when really he isn't. And he's not even that relevant. Like, I don't want to be negative, but, like, Duty isn't even all that relevant in the detractor community, though. Really? Yeah, he makes decent clips. Well, like, I don't really even watch his normal videos where he talks a whole lot, like, where he's actually talking. I don't really watch his stuff. And, like, there are better channels out there that do clips. Like, I usually go to, like, Hate Army, Memology 101, or Snort Hogan if I want a clip, right? Usually that's where I go for clips. I don't really go to Duty streams. So it's like he's kind of irrelevant in the detractor community. I know I'm not one to talk in that aspect, obviously, because I am too, but that doesn't matter. You know, it's like, so it's like, I don't really see why he's acting like Duty is like the biggest detractor he has when he's clearly not.
I'm bringing it up to piss me off, and that's eventually when you get further and further down into the.
Yeah,
the
you're
depths
right,
of, what
Blooper. I should just shut this off because apparently
right?
he did everything right. He never hurt anyone.
Okay. I received a $20 tip.
Oh.
Just a 20 and a half left. I want to keep
more tips. Will you get back to the REE-ACK?
To make matters even worse, it turns out Chris paid for the shipping out of pocket.
We actually paid.
Okay, well, he's saying that. I can't defend myself there because I have no evidence. I mean, we're talking about PayPal receipts from 12 years ago, so I can't dispute this.
An additional 150 from out of pocket from my side just to ship the computer.
That may have been the last of his direct interactions with Phil, but not with others that post him. A portion of Chris's second video is in defense of Evil AJ, even showing that he was in communication with him. And
so I guess Joon actually did contact Furtado about this segment then, and did an interview. Again, it's not like Furtado, like, out on a whim brought this shit up. He was asked by Joon the King because Joon was covering this segment as part of the whole documentary as a whole. So he did an interview and asked him about it. Joon brought this up. It's not like this is living rent-free in Furtado's head, but it's clearly living rent-free in your head, DSP.
Then there were videos coming out supporting Chris.
Also, Blooper, you need to stream more often, because I do miss your streams a lot. Those are fun.
Recently, there's been a lot of videos that have been coming out on YouTube about darksydephil, exposing him or whatever. The one that really got me was the one that was made by Chris, of Chris and Teo.
So, like, yeah, he made 2 videos. It's not like he made a lot of videos, though.
Coming out and getting traction. There wasn't a lot of videos that Phil's been exposed and shit. That's bullshit. Videos like this.
Oh yeah, he's using your name, right? Yeah, okay.
Blowing up and was getting
hashtag DSPGaming.
I was worried about, because what I was worried about was
at DSPGaming.
People are gonna go watch This Is How You Don't Play instead of my raw gameplay. That means my business is gonna suffer. They're not gonna watch.
Oh my god!
They're gonna wait for someone else to make This Is How You Don't Play, and they're gonna get my view and my revenue that I should have earned on my original content, and I never did. That's where my concern was. I didn't give a shit about people making this kind of video.
Who designed darksydephil's website for free and built him a computer.
There was a rising community of support, one that was built on the common dislike of Phil. The threads were being intertwined in such a way that new
he
channels
did play
making
Team
This Is How You
Fortress
Don't
2.
Plays would sometimes pay homage
for like 2
to
seconds,
AJ.
probably.
Yep, this is totally true. Again, this is
the crouch
jump. I will
jump.
take all of the blame for everything involved with This Is How You Don't Play.
I love the
Here's
old
why.
half-life crouch jump.
If I had laughed along with them, if I had maybe even taken advantage and started making my own, or having
You
someone
did.
take-
You tried, Phil. You tried. You had the KO Gaming content program, whatever the fuck you want to call it, where you were even too lazy to make your own This Is How You Don't Play, so you tried to have your fans make This Is How You Don't Plays. And it was awful because you wouldn't allow any actual criticism against you. Come on, Phil.
To make these for me and putting up on my channel, I could have capitalized on all of this, and it would have been a completely different situation.
I mean, you
actually
could
wouldn't
have, yeah, but you didn't.
Today, I would be in a situation where so many people.
You have too thin of a skin to actually capitalize and laugh at yourself, though. That's the problem, Phil. You need to learn how to actually laugh at yourself. Not everything is life or death.
And I have these detractors.
Who cares what people think of you?
Differently to This Is How You Don't Play. But publicly, I will tell you all this. All right.
Oh my god, more full
I've already
screen
said this
mode.
before, but I'm gonna say it again for the purposes of this REE-ACK.
I,
at this point, thought my shit didn't stink. I was.
You still do.
I was a successful YouTuber for 5 years.
Still do. Successful, quote unquote, successful. I mean, really, he was successful for 2, maybe 3 years at most.
Good, and everyone else didn't know anything. Just because everyone else was going direct capture and live stream didn't mean I had to. I didn't.
And like he still uses that to this day, where it's like I've been doing YouTube for blank amount of years. That doesn't mean you know everything, Phil. That doesn't mean you're the. That doesn't mean you're like the go-to most knowledgeable person on the subject. That doesn't mean you know what you were doing for those 15 years of content creation, Phil. You've been doing content creation wrong for 14, 15 years. So why should we trust you instead of other people on the matter, huh, Phil? Like, just because you've been doing something for a long amount of time doesn't mean you were doing it well for a long amount of time, right?
I have to follow the trends. I was being a contrarian, right? Everyone says, no, Phil, you're a dinosaur. I'm like, well, fuck you. Then I'm the dinosaur.
See, that dinosaur thing still is in his head rent-free. That still bugs him to this day.
Wrong attitude to have. Because even though there were people coming at
he wants an apology from Chris Furtada for that dinosaur comment. He really does.
Saying it in an insulting way.
Maybe he's going to try to get an interview with Chris Furtada and confront him.
And the fact that they saw
so in 2012, you called me a dinosaur, and that's not cool, okay? So I'm kind of going to need to like have an apology for that.
I had opportunity to take constructive criticism and grow.
Okay, we don't care. We've heard this before.
In 2013, I ignored the stream chat. I refused to talk to people in the
chat. You did. You were an idiot.
I was like,
we get it. You were stupid.
You can watch live if you want. I'm going to pretend like this is an offline video. What? What am I, a moron? Yeah, I was.
Yes, you are, and you still are.
Moron.
You were, and you still are.
My audience to create new kinds of content, right? And I ignored it all. I streamed without interacting with the audience for 4 years. 4 fucking years. I'm an idiot, you know? But now I know that, because eventually I said, okay, I'll change that.
Well, yeah, it's easy to say, oh, well, I know that now, but like in retrospect, it's always easy to say that. But and think of all the mistakes you're making. Think of all the mistakes he is currently making now, that in 5 years from now, he'll look back and be like, oh my God, I was doing this the whole time without doing blank. Man, I was such an idiot back then. Like, because of course there's always going to be things like that, and that's not just a him thing. That's like everyone's thing. Hindsight is 20/20, so everyone, like, that happens to anyone. It's like, why was I doing this for that long of a time? You know, it's like that can apply to anyone, right? Because of course hindsight's 20/20. It's easy to say that in retrospect, but
you know, totally listen. And in 2017, I changed, and all of a sudden it was like night and day. My God, my audience talking to me, we're having a good time. Where people are getting to know the real me instead of...
and then you yelling at them for not talking to you and talking about sports and shit like that, and you're criticizing, yelling at them, was like, if you're not going to talk about the game or to me, you're not allowed to talk at all. What about that, huh, Phil?
Instead of the asshole, you know what I mean? And then I changed for the better over the last 7 years to not even think that way. Now
I for the better, my ass.
I cherish your input and your constructive suggestions. It makes my content way better. But back then in 2012, 2013, I was a big-headed idiot. I literally thought I was top of the world and everyone else sucked. How dare you tell me to improve? Tell you tell me to change. I didn't want to listen to anyone. And that's on me. And that's really one of the core reasons why I had that situation where everyone hated me and I got into a massive decline. That's where really the origin of the detractors came from. Okay? But that's different from today. As you'll see,
he's definitely soapboxing. I cherish the pedophiles in my chat. I cherish the racist Captain Kirks in my chat, guys. I cherish talking to all you pedos and creeps and racist bastards in my chat. Okay, DSP.
Over the years, to be something so much more...
The biggest amount of fucking internet rejects that like DSP. I cherish talking to all you guys, except for when you're not talking to me directly or about me
harmful than just a
or my gameplay
on the internet. With this is how you don't play, and we'll get to that. The crunchiest onion did a super chat. You now feel like Fuse nice criticism about certain topics and things, and yes, absolutely.
Are you talking about me? Are you talking about the game I'm playing? What do you like about me? Are you following me? Are you watching me on YouTube? Are you following me on Twitter? Follow me. Watch me. Tip me. Love me. Tip me.
That's possible.
I'll stop. But that's what it is. Like, he's such a narcissist.
In a certain way, it kind of pisses me off. If you're nice to me, it changes that fact. Look at me, Wakino.
Yeah, you gotta kiss my ass in order to get through my dumbass head and get some kind of criticism through. like, but if you like are neutral, even if you're neutral about it, and you like, what is the right word? When you criticize, like constructive criticism, when you give him constructive criticism, even if you're neutral about it, he won't listen to it. You have to literally kiss his ass and fondle his balls in order for him to like get it through his fucking head.
Casino recently, they're nice to me, and look at what happened as a result. As opposed to originally they were just making fun of me and being dicks to me. None of this last month would have happened.
Now they're doing it to your face.
Stuff that's been happening, right? I received a $5 tip.
And look at what happened now. They're abandoning you, basically.
$2,000. They tears that say.
Oh my god! Still more tips. Will you get back to the REE-ACK, sir?
Right, wrong thing. I actually don't know. I actually don't know what happened if I just immediately publicly said negative things, or if I did talk
you
to him
immediately publicly said negative things.
Would I? That was so long ago. There's no way that I would have any emails or receipts or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like it's convenient. Right? I would be
skipping.
To this screen. There it is. See, there's the pop. I was wondering. I was on the wrong screen. Oh, by the way, the pop-ups aren't working, huh? Because I just not working. Because, I told you that previously. It was the trolls and the
still tips.
So I'm making content, make shit, you know, drama where it doesn't exist. They're literally trying to do it at this very moment.
We don't have to create drama, Phil. You do a good and a fine job at that yourself. We are literally just sitting back here and laughing at a clown. Like the people earlier were right. It's like literally a train wreck every day of the fucking week. A train wreck you can't look away from. So we don't have to create anything. We don't have to make up anything. We are literally just sitting here watching a fucking clown, a Pigroach clown, a pig with a party hat, fucking just ruining his life free on YouTube for all of us to laugh at.
That there's people who I've done content with now and are cool with me. They can't take it at all. So here they are being totally negative. He was here, dude. PPP was in the chat.
Why do we care about? Okay, oh my god, Phil. We don't care about Kino Casino. They're irrelevant too. They're a niche little hateful little group who can't even stream on Twitch or YouTube because them and their fans are such racist people, such like racist, bigot, hateful little trolly people, right? So they can't even stream on YouTube. They can't stream on Twitch. So they're all the way over on Kick, and they just have their own small little community. Although of course it's bigger than Phil's community, but still relatively small community. Why do we give two shits what PPP and Andy Worski, a drug user and a fat bastard who showed his ass on camera live? Why do we care what these two losers have to say about you, Phil? We don't. They're nobodies themselves. If it was someone big, like a big person who was like kissing your ass and fondling your balls, maybe then we would care. If fucking Moist Critical, if Markiplier gave you a shout out in a positive light, yeah, we'd probably be pissed off at that. Because those are bigger name people. But we don't care about you. Even if that Mudahar interview actually went through and Mudahar kissed your ass the entire time, then maybe we would actually be a little upset. Because Mudahar is a lot bigger of a name than fucking Kino Casino, right? If that Medicare interview went through and Medicare kissed you ass, which he wouldn't do, because Medicare doesn't give two shits and doesn't lie and kiss people's asses, he tells it like it is. So he wouldn't have kissed your ass anyway. But even if he somehow was respectful and kissed your ass on the interview, yeah, we'd probably be pissed off at that. Because these are bigger name people that have a huge following and a lot of respect. So if someone like that treated you with a lot of respect and kissed your ass and fondled your balls and all that, yeah, we'd probably be mad. But no one cares about Kino Casino, Phil. Really, no one does.
Earlier, and I modded him so that way when he's in here, people can see that it's the real PPP. He's not here now. He was here earlier.
No one cares. Oh, so man. Exactly the real PPP? You mean PPP in person? That fat piece of shit who showed his asshole live on cam? That guy? The guy who basically did the same thing you did. Well, not the same thing. He didn't masturbate, thankfully. if he can even reach it. But like, you know what I mean? Like, who cares, Phil? Like, and the fact that like people comparing pictures of him to Cat and how similar those two look, it's really fucking funny. So maybe like Phil was like likes people that looks like Cat. So it's like, oh man, he sees that PPB looks a lot like Cat does. So he really likes PPB a lot. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
Hang on me, right?
maybe he's like a chubby chaser or something.
Anyway, let's continue. We've got Bland Polecat did a super chat and he says Philly cheese is showing real. I just continue because already that was like a half an hour stall for something that was so dumb. Like this right here, I think is way more fun.
There are people doing walkthroughs of this game and they just easily jump up here, and I can't do it at all. Look, I can't fucking jump up here.
Oh, it's just classic.
How are people able to jump up here? Look, I can't jump up here.
And obviously all of this is literally just because he doesn't read any of the tutorials for these games. This is why games are dumbed down to such a massive degree today. Like, when you start a brand new game, and it literally starts off with, like, move your character around with the left stick. Yeah, no shit, I got that. Move the camera around with the right stick. Uh-oh, you gotta crouch down here. Push the B button to crouch. Like, this is why, he is the reason why the tutorials are there. He is the reason why people are this fucking dumb that they have to make tutorials like that. Because of him.
Oh my god.
Jump!
Crouch jump.
Jump! You fucking idiot!
Oh man.
Yes, you are a fucking idiot.
Viewers were quickly realizing that
That wasn't even what you were supposed to do, because then I got stuck and I couldn't make progress. It's supposed to be a crouching jump, which I never learned how to do in the tutorial.
DSP, with his near 4 years on YouTube, had a treasure trove of videos to sift through and inspire compilations or different forms of content. Whether it was Pandalee's abrasive personality and dislike of the Kingdom Hearts series,
I'm here trying to play a fucking game. It's hard to concentrate when a bunch of little immature shits get into a fucking argument with my girlfriend. Fuck you.
a DSP soundboard,
Yeah, because I love how Joon left out the whole part that Pandalee was purposely antagonizing the Kingdom Hearts fans in DSP's Kingdom Hearts game playthrough, right? So Phil is playing Kingdom Hearts. Obviously, fans of Kingdom Hearts are in there watching him play it. And she's basically saying the game sucks, the game is terrible. And people rightfully get pissed off at her and are telling her to go, like, F herself or shut up or she doesn't understand it. And Phil obviously takes her side, even though she started the whole fucking thing.
Bullshit, bumblefuck nonsense.
or just DSP's giveaways that would sometimes just be empty video game cases.
So to warn everyone, just to show you for full disclosure, no game.
There was so much material dated by his pre-capture card era. Some of these videos were titled DSP Tries It, as he tried to dominate his own Tries It series on the search results.
Yep.
An additional purpose of these was to create videos that were shorter snippets of DSP rather than the long-form This Is How You Don't Plays. Some just criticized DSP's habits outside of games, like DSP Tries It, compulsive hoarding, and being a man-child. A video
What was I thinking of with the empty cases? I was giving away all the collector's edition content of the collector's editions of games. So even though I was giving away an empty game case, I was giving you the art book, the soundtrack, all the collector's packaging and everything. I didn't have the game because I traded it in. Back then, my methodology was buy a whole bunch of games, play through them within a week or two, trade them all in together at GameStop to get almost all my money back. Because back then you could do that. If you traded in 3 or more games,
methodology. I love that methodology.
So even though I was buying an exorbitant amount of games, I actually wasn't spending that much money at the time. You see? But people were lining up in droves to get those
no,
cases.
They weren't. He always says in droves, when really it was just a small handful of people.
Would post in the forum, and I would use a random number generator to pick. I mean, at one point there was like 1,000 people posting in the forum to get that empty box.
Yeah, it wasn't just people spamming or joking with you. Where it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to join. Also, it doesn't take a whole lot to click one button to join in. You know what I mean?
Because it was a bunch of collector's edition content they weren't going to get because they didn't buy the collector's edition, and I would autograph whatever they wanted.
Collector's edition, except for any code or DLC that was included with the collector's edition, because I already used all that, guys. Sorry. But you get this empty game box, and literally, basically, that's it. Maybe an art book if you're lucky.
To them, I'm giving them a free piece of memorabilia of their favorite YouTuber. They loved it. But
the fucking narcissism, man. Like, a piece of memorabilia from your favorite YouTuber of all time. This will be worth 2 or 3 times as much as the actual collector's edition is worth. because it has my name on it, guys. What a fucking ass.
Detractor spun it as, oh, he just gives away empty game boxes. What they failed to mention is the time I gave away whole games, the time that I gave away a PS4.
The one time this guy gives away a PS4 because he had an extra one. So one time he gave away a system. And I think one time he gave away an actual game. That's it. That's not something to be proud of 10 years later down the road.
Or at the launch of the PlayStation 4, because I wanted to help my community. I thought it would be a nice thing to do. I had an extra one that I wasn't using, so I just gave it away. But they won't mention that. To them, it's never happened. All I did was give away empty game boxes, you know, because that's the narrative they want to spin. Cave Teeth gifted a membership to the community. Congrats to Sofa Ninja on getting it. And I received a $2.51 tip. I find it funny how detractors make fun of people that donate to you, but then they directly benefit from it because you need to support to exist, and they spend so much time watching detractor content. It's a catch-22. Detractors are fans. They just don't realize it. And they, of course, they would never admit it, right? Thank you for the tip.
That covers Phil's newly released 2013 condo tour that shows just how much worse his living space has gotten.
This is what.
Sorry, 1 second. The thing is, Phil, we don't need you to exist because obviously if you were to disappear from the internet tomorrow, every troll, every detractor here would just move on to a different lolcow, and that'll be their lolcow of choice, right? I think if you disappeared tomorrow, I would probably focus maybe more on probably Foodie Booty and maybe like King Kerbo JFS. Those are probably the two people I would probably focus on. Or maybe Boogie a little bit too. I don't know. But there's like so many different lolcows out there. I was watching Ann Leet's what was it? Captain Alex stream the other day. Oh my god, that guy is fucking insane too. Like, that's so fucking bad. But there's plenty of other lolcows to laugh at, Phil. We don't need you around to exist. If anything, you need us to exist, because you would be even in a worse position if we didn't exist at all.
What has happened to my condo in the past year?
This is major hoarding.
That my condo
Jesus
just
Christ.
can't. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
I can't look at it. I'm getting
It's
seasick.
a fucking hideous mess. Look at this. Look at the floor.
Look at that corner. Look at this corner. There's a chair here, and it's like behind this box mountain over here, full of trash. He has this little trash mountain in the corner here. I don't know what the... Is that a suitcase? What the hell? This is, like, fucking insane.
It's a fucking hideous mess.
It is
And
a hideous mess.
I really wish that I had somewhere to put this shit, but I don't.
Oh,
Tied
maybe
to
we
this
should get,
was
like,
the
a
curiosity
storage
about
cabinet.
DSP's expenditures.
A
In 2013 alone,
storage
he took
unit.
at least 4 trips. Every one of them, he paid for at least one additional person, whether it was John Rambo or Pen Lee, sometimes both. The reason this was becoming relevant was because of DSP's focus on his decline of views and earnings. His critics could be just as excessive with their own commentary.
Have you been on darksydephil's stream when he fucking flips out of people using adblock? About how you're it's like going into his house and robbing him and taking all his shit.
They just find out where he lives and rob him. Like, I can't go to his house.
That was classic. I remember that.
Right? Because at the time, they weren't called detractors at this point. I think they were I called them trolls or whatever. They were literally going around saying, just watch Phil's content with the ads off, with ad block on, excuse me. That way, you could still watch him, but he makes no money, right?
Were they saying that back then? I'm pretty sure even back then, they weren't willing to give you the views on anything, Phil. Even back then, they would just watch a re-streamer. Why would they watch your actual stream or your actual YouTube channel straight raw like that, while they could just watch a restream? Like, even today, people don't like you even giving you a free view or not.
Today, I want you to think about that. Today, if someone said, hey, it's okay to watch everyone's content with ad block on, a lot of people would be like, well, no, actually, it's not. You know, that's kind of messed up. But back then...
No, even today, no one really gives a shit. Because guess what? Today, like, YouTube doesn't really go around giving people money based on views. It's more about watch time and interaction with the chat or the video and stuff. if it's a stream or if it's a chat or a video or whatever like that, you know? It's more about like interaction with the video or the stream, and it's more about how long they watch, not so much about how many views that each video gets. It's not like cost per view now or cost per click like it used to be, Phil.
Then it was kind of a new thing. And so ad block was a hot piece of contention. It was actually things people talked about all the time. Should you have ads on? Should you not have ads on? Should you be able to make a living on YouTube videos? Is it okay for people to have ad block on when they're watching someone who they know that their living is made on YouTube ads? Keep in mind at this time, okay, during this time period, there was no...
I don't know. I never felt guilty for having ad block on while watching YouTube, even though YouTube is being really fucked up with ad blockers lately.
Live streaming. There was no super chats, no memberships, no subscriptions, no tips, none of that. It was just my entire living was made on ad revenue. I didn't even have any sponsorships or product placements. My shit was basically just ads. So if you're watching my content with ad block on, you are taking my livelihood away from me. And I directly talked about it, but I probably shouldn't have, correct? I probably shouldn't have said that at all. I should have just...
Yeah, because it's a stupid take.
Never said a word about it and just let people do what they want. Because what happens is when you bring shit up like this, it just makes it bigger. So what happens? More people do it, right? So by me addressing it and bringing it up, immediately more and more people start.
And yet you still haven't learned this lesson, and you still bring up shit all the time, Phil.
And acted and addressed it in the way that I did, right?
Making my money. That's just like if you use ad block on one of my videos.
But you know what'd be great? You could really take your lens and went into his house and lynched him.
4chan was also in on this, creating green text that accompanied other memes. As to only help the building tension, DSP set out on attacking other creators whose channels towered over his own.
Holy shit! Oh, no. This is true. This was so bad of me because as I noticed that there started to be a decline and everyone started making fun of me, again, laughing at me instead of with me, I basically became...
Did anyone laugh with him? I don't think anyone actually did.
And basically started lashing out at others who were doing better than me, saying that I was better than them.
You still are really sensitive, Phil.
I would argue that this was a very toxic time of my life where I was saying really dumb shit and being very like offended and offensive.
Still are toxic too.
YouTuber who's not a giant fucking Tobuscus PewDiePie idiot who loves gaming, is doing it for
he
the love
hated
of gaming,
Tobuscus too. Hated him.
PewDiePie's channel had over 100 times the subscribers that Phil had, and there was no doubt that they shared viewers. So these comments assured that those viewers would not return to Phil. What's more is that Phil would talk about how big of a fan PewDiePie was of him.
Yeah, that's right. PewDiePie has said he was inspired by me to make videos. He
used to watch
my content back when he had no money. No, that he didn't say that. That's a lie. Here's me being stupid, right? No, here's the truth. So PewDiePie used to leave comments on my videos.
God, he looks so terrible.
Before PewDiePie ever even uploaded a single video to YouTube to make his own content, he watched my old content and he actually left comments on my videos. I've seen some of them, okay? Then, if you look at some of PewDiePie's early content, he talks about me. In his Heavy Rain playthrough, when the detective is on the wasteland where the first body is, and Norman Jayden walks out, he's investigating the body in the wet area. And the
show us evidence. Post this.
PewDiePie says, "Oh, he looks like darksydephil," right? So 100% it's true that he used to watch me before he even made content, and then he's referencing me in his early content. Okay, does that mean directly that he was inspired by me to make videos? No. Okay, the only evidence I could ever say is that I know he watched me at some point, and he did reference me in his early content. This is me grossly over-exaggerating that to try to get clout. That's what this is. This is me being incredibly stupid.
You still do this to this day.
Overly exaggerating the situation to get
still
clout.
Do this to this day, Phil.
Because eventually, obviously, this kind of behavior was going to blow up in my face, saying dumb shit like this constantly, trying to act like I was bigger or more important than I actually was. Someone tipped me $5.
And apparently, any character that ever had a goatee must have been inspired by you, right?
Frozen by PayPal. I apologize about that. Games. He would watch me play the games. That's how he got the idea to make his content. That's completely false. I have no evidence of that whatsoever. I made all that up.
PewDiePie did, in fact, like some of DSP's videos back in 2011. Though as Phil's barrage continued, PewDiePie would have a change in opinion. As for now, the other leading channel that he was personally at odds with was Tobuscus, who launched his own gaming channel. On top of that, he promoted NCAA Football 2013.
I fucking hated this guy at the time, for a lot of reasons. I'm sure we're going to go into them.
And his video on it was used as an advertisement for the game on YouTube. Phil, displeased with what he perceived as YouTube advertising his competitors, was quick to make a rant on it.
And here's why I'm upset. I'm not upset that he's advertising the game. That's fine. It's even a gaming-related ad. I understand why it's on my video. But at the end of the fucking ads, there's a link to his channel.
Phil was thoroughly lambasting entertainers and games that his audience enjoyed. Games that were rising in popularity like Minecraft for its lack of story. This made the rounds so much that even the creator of Minecraft commented on it.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. I had no idea.
I mean, to be fair, fuck Notch. Notch is an asshole, so Who
This is
really
the first
gives
I'm
two
actually seeing it
shits
in
about
writing.
Notch?
Well,
but
I have said this to this day.
whatever.
All right.
Notch is idiot. You know what? I think for once I agree with darksydephil. Notch is an idiot. I agree.
My comments on Minecraft were some of the biggest examples of me being a misinformed idiot, saying shit for absolutely no reason, talking out of my ass. All right, and then eating crow for it.
And you
Years
still do that
later,
to this day,
after
also.
So many people telling me, Phil, you were wrong. You've got to try Minecraft. It's not just a kid's game. It's not some immature, stupid kiddie thing. You really should check it out. And then I played it. And I loved it.
Phil, you got to play Roblox. It's not just a kiddie game. It's really creative. It has awesome things. You should definitely play
and then when I got it, I was like,
Roblox.
I'm a complete idiot because I talked so much shit about this game. And that's not. This is just one case. This is old Phil used to do this all the time. Someone would present
Old
something to me,
Phil,
and I would
like
just
he's
blow up and say something
changed so
completely dumb,
much.
and it would come back to bite me because people were like, no, that's not the common opinion. Why are you being a contrarian about everything, right? It was like I was purposely trying to make trouble to get attention. And I regret that tremendously today, because today I look back at this kind of shit and I'm like, this is sad that I opened my mouth about shit I was not informed on. And the thing is, I had a lot of people who followed me back then, who listened to me, who believed me, who thought, oh yeah, Minecraft is a kiddie game and shit. It's not. But I was dumb and I talked out of my ass because I thought my shit didn't stink and I was smarter than everybody else. I'm a moron.
Because of DSP's
It's
rapid
because he
decline.
has that, like, what is it called? That, like, adversary reaction behavior disorder or whatever, where it's like, if everyone likes a thing, he has to hate it. If everyone hates a thing, he has to like it. It's like that. It's like, if someone tells him this, he's gonna do the opposite of that just to spite you. Doesn't matter if he actually believes in it or not, he's gonna do the opposite of that because that's just kind of how he is. It's really dumb.
There was inversely a lucrative market to make content criticizing DSP. A group of creators would soon fly a banner that would be seen across various channels.
Here we
the
go.
Kojima World Order, or the KWO, was a unifying group for what was
Kojima
being
World
called the troll
Order.
or detractor channels. The origin of the name came from Phil himself and his criticisms of Kojima.
I'm joining the Kojima World Order as of right now. Everything that Kojima has made is godlike, without question. Kojima World Order. Kojima World Order.
2013 ended far differently than it began. With DSP's views still on decline and a decline in how DSP was viewed, it made for Phil's worst year yet. And in 2014, the detractor videos and memes evolved rapidly. Phil could only add fuel to their fire.
Okay, what is up, everybody?
Oh, here it is.
Lord.
The video everyone loves to laugh at. That I freaking
Because
did an
it's so
unboxing and I didn't unbox
stupid.
the game. Let's see what you have to say
Obviously.
about this.
Here and welcome to Release Day Unboxing.
Because you're
for Tuesday,
retarded.
February 11th.
And it's funny that, like, I can't remember who did it, but someone used AI to remove the fire alarm sound, and it's like a normal video with him just talking really loudly about the game, and you don't hear the alarm at all. It's really funny. And it's kind of weird in a way, too. It's like something's wrong here, because obviously you don't hear the alarm going off. It's really funny.
2014. Before everyone says, what on earth is going on, you probably hear an incredibly annoying, high-pitched, droning sound going on. That is the fire alarm. In my
Why did
condo
he think this was a good
facility. The
idea?
problem is, the fire alarm in this condo facility has a nasty habit of during the middle of the winter, especially when it's very cold, of going off as a malfunction.
That was from DSP's release day unboxing video. The first 3 minutes, Phil is talking about
And he
the
didn't
ongoing
even
fire alarm.
open it. He didn't even unbox it.
Then he shifts to criticizing prior games, then to the fire alarm, and then DSP picks up the camera, takes it to the door, and shows he stuffed paper towels in the slits to muffle some of the ongoing
I forgot about that. He sticks. Hold on, can I get a better shot?
camera, takes it to the door, and shows he stuck paper towels.
He stuck paper
in the slit.
towels in the top of and sides of his door, thinking that will somehow muffle the sound of the alarm. I love that. That is hilarious. Just using a whole roll of paper towels and trying to wedge it in the door frame thing so it muffles the sound somehow. That is hilarious. There's no way in hell that would ever muffle anything. What was he thinking?
To muffle some of the ongoing alarm. In the entire 14 minutes, DSP failed to open and quote-unquote unbox the game. This screenshot, which included DSP's comment realizing his mistake tied to the title of the video, is what DSP was now known for.
Wow.
Though few videos of his own rarely capture this entertainment from failure in such a way.
What's up, boss? Is it time?
As predictable as Phil was in the gaming space with his commentary, his decisions, especially the financial ones, were seldom predictable. Phil, mid-2014, finally committed to move. Some discernible reasons for a move were mainly tied to having a larger living space, allowing for more storage, and would give Phil
so
and
could
Panda
buy
leave their own
more
space
shit.
as they were seeking to move in together. Common strategies would suggest Phil would either sell or rent his condo, and then
Before we get into this, I have a shout out to do.
Oh my
But it'll be a whole new saga.
More
This'll
tips.
be- See the $5 defend yourself in long. So guys,
More tips.
some elements are as important, like his friends and family that were all living in Bridgeport. With this in mind, what does Phil do?
I got the confirmation over the weekend that we are good to go. We are closing this week. By the end of this week, I will be the owner of a beautiful new townhouse / condo in Washington State. It's probably going to cost me about $7,500. I shit you not.
Just
it's
to
that
move.
expensive to
Just to
move across the country.
move.
it cost me way more than that. Way more than that.
That's
Because
insane.
that was-
And he didn't even bring that much stuff with him either, which is crazy. Yeah, I know. We already talked about the game boxes thing where you kind of missed that part. But yeah, he was defending that too. He would say like, well, it wasn't just the game box, guys. It was the art books attached to it. And if it had a soundtrack to it, like he did all of that. I'm like, okay, sure, Phil.
what the estimate was, and then when they actually hit me with the bill, it was more. After the move, I was like, what the fuck? And then, of course, I mean, you got to think of other things, like furnishing the house, right?
Which you could have brought with you. You had all the furniture you needed that you could have brought with you, but you didn't. He chose to waste extra money on buying a brand new furniture.
Getting a foothold out here, all what it costs to do that. So it was way more than that.
Phil had decided to move from Connecticut to quite literally across the country to Washington to purchase a condo for $265,000. What's more, for 2013, with Phil's viewership on his main channel, he had made just shy of $100,000 gross, a steep decline from the $170,000 gross in 2012. This indicates continued loss of revenue and pressure to pull
Oh
back
no,
on
not the
spending.
piggy
And even
bank.
though Phil should have money
That poor
saved up,
piggy
he was
bank.
still petitioning his audience for donations.
Hasn't
now,
had
to be
a
honest with
dime
everyone,
in
the
it
past month
in
to 2 months,
years.
April and now May, up to now have been pretty slow. But, you know, I needed a little bit of help
But I need to like beg harder, I guess.
in these times when things are slow, okay?
These
I'm gonna lose the house. I'm gonna be homeless on the streets. Taxes are coming up.
situation he was revealing was far more dire than initially thought. Phil was technically still in debt as he paid the minimum on his mortgage for his Connecticut condo, and as later revealed,
The minimum.
Phil, as he claims, emptied his bank account to finance a move.
That's okay. So yes, I basically emptied my bank account to finance the move. All my savings went to like the down payment on the place.
What savings,
and for
Phil?
furnishing
What
the place.
savings? You admitted yourself you didn't have any savings. So what savings are you
Paid
talking
for the move,
about?
all my shit across the country. So basically, I had no cash left by the time I moved. Then I racked up a ton of credit cards, which I'm sure is what he's going to talk about next.
Meaning, somehow, the hundreds of thousands of dollars he should have saved were supposedly
Should have saved, which he didn't save, but should have.
gone. In addition to this, he began using credit cards to continue his lavish lifestyle that was
What he doesn't know, or
Yeah, living outside of your means, like always.
what he doesn't address, all the money I made in my early days of YouTube paid off a lot of debt from my previous life. So it paid off my student loans, it paid off credit card debt
I thought your parents paid your student loans, Phil.
from the Evo days that he talked about earlier
And didn't you say you had financial aid too?
in this actual documentary. I had a lot of debt that I was dragging around for many years.
But why did you tell anyone about your finances at all? That's in his chat. In his chat, they're asking that. Good question. Why is it suddenly gone? Where did it all go?
And when I became a YouTuber, I had to pay all of that off. Okay. Basically, by the time
Genius
that I moved in
financial
2014,
decisions.
I want to argue I had maybe like $30,000 saved in the bank. And the rest of it was, you know, well, no, I spent it all. Like all my savings were spent on the move across the country, 100%. And then I went into debt because I had to basically keep paying for shit. So I had to keep racking stuff up on credit cards and shit. And I had to keep living above my means. Had to. Absolutely no other let's
choice.
see how much he talks about, because I know I've talked about this over the years.
was far beyond unsupportable. Quote, I'm a successful YouTuber and lots of people
No, you're not.
dislike me because I am successful and outspoken.
Oh, okay, Phil. That's why people
I should
hate
have
you.
signed up here with a different name, but I didn't think that far ahead. I may
You still haven't thought that far
do
ahead.
so now. Unquote. This was Phil in a forum for the mobile game WWE Supercard, which is essentially a collectible card game of sorts with emphasis on microtransactions themed around the well-known American wrestling organization. Quote, I just got my second in the Hulk Hogan Challenge and spent around $200. For $1,200, I think, you can buy a pack of 1,500 title matches.
$1,200? I don't think I've spent $1,200 on any mobile game. Phil, come on.
Which is enough to win the event.
$1,200 on one event. One event! This isn't even into WWE Champions yet.
Doing straight +5s, unquote.
Raw.
The jargon around the game was hardly interesting to any detractor. What was Phil's knowledge of the cost of items and his spendings of potentially thousands of real-life dollars in a time he supposedly did not have any money to spend. Yet,
I've already fessed up to all of this, okay? I've already fessed up.
Oh, right. I forgot, guys. He fessed up. Wait, no, he didn't fess up at this point yet, did he? No, he didn't yet. I think it's either the third or the fourth react to the Joon the King documentary is when he actually admits that the WWE Champions thing was his. So he already fessed up to the WWE Supercard. We haven't gotten to the actual confession yet.
I moved out here, and basically I financed some of the move with my cash. The others, I racked up credit cards, and yes, I got into mobile game. It was WWE Supercard was the first big one, and then the other one was Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. And I spent a ton of money on them like a complete moron.
Yeah, because you have a gambling addiction.
100% I fess up to that entirely.
Yeah, entirely.
True. Okay?
he was financing Panda Lee's new soap-making business. Phil also renewed the lease.
That's true, too. My ex wanted to do something.
My ex. I love how he never actually calls her, like, Panda Lee or Leanna. Nothing like that. Always my ex. My ex.
Just a 9-to-5 job. So she wanted to make soap. And I financed the entire upfront thing. I bought all of the ingredients she needed to make the soap. I bought all the molds. I bought all the chemicals. I bought a printer so she could print all laser print.
And I bet you took a portion of her proceeds because of that, huh? I wouldn't be surprised.
You print all the shit. I bought all the boxes. I did it all. I financed her entire business up front for her to make soap, and that would be.
What do you want, a fucking cookie? That's the least you could have done for all the neglect you caused
so
her.
She would have something to do to make some money and not be bored.
All the anguish you caused her
to pay for the move. That's exactly what happened.
On a BMW that he would drive at most 2,000 miles a year. Evidence of Phil's poor spending had been mounting for some time, but never has it been this overwhelming.
Once my equipment shows up, my new PC, I'm hoping.
Oh god, I remember this. This feels like it was yesterday. Like, he bought 3 different capture cards to find out which capture card was the best one or whatever. And then he never returned the other 2. They just kind of rotted in his fucking closet.
Hoping to get to work with higher quality videos for you guys. So next week will be an interesting week to test it, right?
1, 2, 3, or 4 if you include the capture card Phil is using. That's how many capture cards Phil has.
No. It's 3. That extreme cap is the one I used for a whole decade and never bought another one. The other 2 I bought and didn't work. In fact, that one intensity I just tried.
Didn't return them though, did you, huh?
I tried to use a year ago or earlier this year or last year, and it crashed my PC. The other one didn't even work at all. It was just the wrong card. That box, I don't know what's in there, but if I remember correctly, that was cables. That was HDMI cables. So no, it wasn't 4 or 5. I did buy 3 capture devices. Only one worked. The extreme cap.
Like, if I buy something and it doesn't work or it doesn't fit right with my PC, I'm returning that shit. Especially considering these are probably at least over $100 each.
And that's the one I used for literally
you damn right I'm going to return that shit.
Test them out. The comments discuss the absurdity of Phil's purchases. Quote, lol. So he ordered 1 capture card, changed his mind, and bought another. Then changed his mind again and bought another, all before.
Oh, but he didn't buy any of them though, right? A fan probably donated them.
Before the first could even be delivered.
I don't remember the specifics. I would think I probably.
Oh yeah, of course you don't remember.
You got more money than sense, or your credit card debt is rising. Wouldn't it be worth doing some research before buying them?
Yeah, you would think so.
Dude, you could just figure this stuff out with a Google search.
Yeah.
Lol.
No, you can't. That's ridiculous.
You
Google
can.
It's not going to figure out the best option for your business. You do need to kind of mess.
For your business? No, but it would find the best option for the PC you're currently running, or if he had just bought a new PC or whatever.
Equipment. I wasn't as tech savvy as I wish I was. And I needed to
Still
mess around with
aren't.
external and internal. I needed to mess around with different things, okay?
Unquote. What the comments miss is that Phil also bought a new, pre-built PC from CyberPower within the week of the capture card video, and did the unboxing live, taking his chance to mock the PC might have taught a build for him by stating,
This is how you do ship a PC.
And then he breaks it.
We already got a broken piece of plastic.
Yeah, this is how you do, and then he breaks the fucking thing.
Already a broken piece of plastic. That might be why the top is moving.
Yep. The top, even with this PC shipped that way, it still had things broken on
You broke it.
it. To this day, it's still broken. It moved. The whole top moves when you touch it. It doesn't stay in place.
Well, it's a good thing you almost never touched that actual PC then, huh?
Still work. Don't get me wrong. The PC.
Wait, so he's still using this is his streaming PC right now, then he's still using this, oh my god, Windows 8. I can't believe he's still using Windows 8 for his streaming PC. And recently he mentioned that he wants to buy a brand new PC to replace his streaming PC, even though he has what was it, a $3,000 or $2,000 to $3,000 gaming PC that he could also stream off of. Hell, he could stream with his fucking laptop. He doesn't need a desktop to stream. That laptop that he has is newer. Well, not super new, but like it was what, 3 years ago? 2 years ago? So he could fucking stream off of that and it would be fine. He won't, but he could. My PC is not the newest PC. It streams fine, Phil. It doesn't take up that many resources to stream off of. Of course, this is the same idiot who wants to stream at like 25,000 kilobytes per second or some bullshit.
Worked.
He really is a king at being a moron, though. I will give him that.
On the front. It's the post that goes through that holds this in place broke off in shipping.
The price of the PC was $3,000. Here it is in action.
What the hell?
Choppy, look.
Choppy as fuck rage game.
As fuck on my new PC. Great. Yep.
And he probably didn't configure the settings properly. He didn't know that in a PC game you could lower some of the graphic things so it plays fine. Because like you don't have to play a game at ultra high spec. You can lower the graphics to middle or low even if you have to, and it would improve the performance of the game dramatically. But he didn't bother doing any of that. Probably didn't fucking know anything about like overclocking it or anything. Nothing.
So he didn't know that there was an option to switch from encoding with your CPU and encoding with your GPU. Like,
yeah.
He just didn't know how to use his PC.
Correct. That's absolutely correct. I was inept. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
You still are.
I was trying to listen to advice from like people on the internet on how to do shit. You know.
Oh, now you're just insulting your fans.
And
okay.
Now, today what I do, all right.
He's still defending this.
I capture, direct capture with my, I think it's my CPU, and I stream with my GPU. But back then you couldn't even do that. We're talking about 2014. There was no way to do that. Now in OBS, there's options. You could capture one way, you could stream another way, you could split the processing power to do these things. And that's, I'm literally right now using the same exact PC to capture and stream as in this video right now. It's the same PC. The difference is when I got it, you couldn't do that. So here we go. Mighty Furtado trying to weigh in. Doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Okay. At the top.
He does. He's correct. You still don't know what the fuck you're doing. And you were doing it incorrect.
There's no way to do it. Because what happened was my viewers had basically led me to buy this PC, telling me all this different stats about.
Oh, again, it's his fans' fault. He was asking for help, and it was his fans' fault that they all weren't some giant hive mind that all agreed on one thing.
What they didn't understand is that I both captured locally to my hard drive, and I was live streaming, and it was two separate processes. What a lot of people were doing was just doing the stream, and then the stream archive was the on-demand video. But I didn't want to have pre-stream music in there. I didn't want to have breaks in there. I was...
Because you're an idiot. You, like... He streams, and he asks for likes and interaction on those streams. But then he privates the stream, which just negates any interaction his audience has with that stream. It doesn't help him in the algorithm. It doesn't help his channel at all because he privates those streams. Just keep the whole stream archive up. It's fine. And then use your fucking clips.
Streaming like.
And then use your clips as videos. Don't just upload it in 1 hour segments. Just upload a couple clips here and there from the stream itself. That's all you have to do.
Pre-stream first, where I talk to my audience, then I would play the game.
Oh my god, Skip.
I spent $3,000 on no challenges later on down the road, running at 60 frames per second. We're watching a 1080p video, running at 60 frames per second.
You could have fooled me, Phil. It doesn't look any better.
You see, I needed two. I needed one capture streaming PC and one gaming PC. Yeah.
You don't anymore, though. Not with that nice. Not with a PC you currently have. You don't need to.
Okay. Freaking maxed it out. It went to 100%, so I cannot play a PC game on 1080p 60 frames per second and capture and stream at the same time. It doesn't work.
The irony of all
and
of it.
Again, he's such a graphic snob. I'm streaming at like 720. I'm not streaming at 1080. And like it doesn't change the quality of the stream at all.
This is that Phil later cited Seattle's tech sector as one of the reasons for the move, despite not having any formal education or even general.
Yeah, I'm like possibly have like prior experience in being abused or something, or like being susceptible to abuse and being fine with it, because his fans get abused all the goddamn time by him.
Competence in the field. As for the exorbitant spending on equipment, DSP could cite that he was trying to improve the quality of his streams and also deduct purchases for taxes, but he was ignoring the fact that gaming content was being improved by editing the unnecessary parts out. Phil was still refusing to do this. His cited
Still
reason,
to
he
this
was a
day
gamer.
refuses to
Quote,
do this.
I'm a gamer, not a video editor, entertainer, actor. I like to play games, not edit videos of them. Unquote. His choice of trying to improve the visual quality and not the experience of his streams was turning around to bite him at every angle.
Correct, because if you choose to ignore everything around you, you're never going to remain pertinent, right?
Says the guy who does just that. That's what we're never gonna get done with this fucking video, because oh my god, I keep pausing, but you do that same exact
I didn't
thing,
want to roll
Phil.
with the trends. I didn't want to stay up on technology. I literally just wanted to sit here and play games and share that with the
Still
world.
to this day, that's what
But
you're
I couldn't make a
doing.
living doing it like that anymore because people didn't want to see that anymore. I really was a dinosaur. It wasn't
Still are a dinosaur.
2009 anymore. It was 2014, 2015. People wanted more edited content, more scripted content, more other stuff, and I wasn't down for that. I
wasn't down with the sickness.
Obstinate. My shit didn't stink in my own head. So because of that, I fell massively behind the curve of everyone else out there as a content creator. 100% Joon is right on the money with this here. Okay.
In November of 2014, a Twitch mod jumped into Phil's streams requesting he lower his bitrate. This is basically asking him to lower the quality. While Phil complied, he was unhappy with the outcome, especially with all the money he invested in improving the visual quality. In an act of defiance, Phil deleted his Twitch account, opting to stream on YouTube where
I didn't delete my Twitch account. I think I deactivated it.
Yeah, he deactivated it. He didn't delete it.
Twitch upped their bitrate limitations and said, hey, you could do different bitrates and stuff. Okay. But yeah, that absolutely happened. I said I deleted it, but I didn't. I didn't delete it. I deactivated it, and I went back to it many years later. Okay.
where he would not be burdened with Twitch's limitations. This move, that was...
I don't know if the... Because, I haven't watched the whole Joon documentary yet. I don't know if Joon ever actually brings up Brightside Viking or not in here. I hope he does, because that is a big part of Phil's history. But I don't know if Joon actually brings that up or not. He should. But I haven't watched the whole thing yet, so I don't know.
Was meant to increase viewership via higher quality streams actually had Phil lose viewership, as few Twitch native users were loyal enough to migrate. Phil was now going from blunder to...
I was not getting only 90 views a video. That's false. That's bullshit. Even today, even on today, when I have massively declined, like the least video views I'll get on a gaming video is like maybe 200-300 tops over a little bit of time. On average, my
well, that's really showing them. That's a huge difference. Oh my gosh.
It's a popular game, I'll get thousands of views. It depends. But those views were not...
No, usually what happens is, if it's the first couple videos in a playthrough, it'll get a lot of views, and then it tapers right the fuck off. Or after the bullshit podcast, then it drops way the fuck down.
All of the time. It looks like he captured a moment in time when those videos had just been uploaded and only had a few views.
To blunder, miscalculating, misunderstanding, failing only in ways he could. For example, he allegedly launched a fan art campaign. The participants on Twitter gleefully joined in and shared their art. Only they weren't fans. This contrast, this continued failure was too much to even be documented.
Some of these are great.
There was a nuance to DSP's thought process that was demanding exploration and criticism, especially when, in December of 2014, Phil was playing with the idea of starting a Patreon. But also in December, he was making more vlogs showing his continued poor spending habits that were discourteous even to his parents that Phil set up in a hotel instead of having them stay in the condo.
My parents are visiting for the Christmas week holiday, and they actually took the car. That's right, I let them take the BMW. So yeah, that's a lot of trust, but I trust my parents.
A lot of... Imagine that. This whole fucking part is such a thing. Imagine that. Oh, I'm trusting my parents a lot. How are you not going to trust your parents with your fucking car, first of all? Obviously, I trust my parents with my... I mean, I don't have a BMW, my bad. But, like, obviously you're going to trust your parents with your fucking car, right? Like, that should be a given. I mean, depending on how good or bad your parents are, I guess. But, like, most parents, I would say you've probably been driving longer than you have. Well, I'm going to trust my parents with my amazing fucking BMW. Fuck off. It wasn't even yours. You were renting it. You were borrowing a BMW. And BMWs aren't all that great anyway. He acts like a BMW is like a fucking Cadillac or Lexus or fucking Infinity. I'd be impressed if it was an Infinity. Those things are fucking expensive. Not a BMW.
They actually are staying at a hotel that's less than 10 minutes away. We got them up. We set them up at room and board. It's a nice hotel.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a BMW. They're basically like a slightly more fancier version of a Volkswagen, right? Like, or was that Audi that was? Because I had a Volkswagen and it was a nice little car. I love that car. But then a semi hit it on the freeway, so that was the end of that car. But it was a nice little German car. I liked it. But I think it's like Volkswagen, and then it's Audi, and then BMW is supposed to be like the luxury version or something. But like, and every fucking BMW I see on the road don't know how to fucking drive. I swear to God, they don't know how to fucking drive.
How was that discourteous to my parents? It was a hotel that was 10 minutes away. That was a really nice hotel room that I paid for. And they didn't have
discourteous, Phil. You
stay in the one spare bedroom of my house that was really small and not set up to be a bedroom. How was that discourteous? I got them a better accommodation than what it would have been in my house. And I let them drive my BMW around town.
See? I allowed them to drive my BMW that I love more than my parents, obviously, around town. What? And it's like, he doesn't understand that there's like this kind of pride thing going on where it's like, hey mom, hey dad, this is my awesome house I bought. And I'd be honored if you guys could spend the night in our guest bedroom here. Like it's like it's a courtesy thing, I guess. It's like it's a proud moment in a son or daughter's life, and they're having their parents sleep over for the night, stay over in their own house as like a hospitality type thing. But of course, DSP's fucking guest bedroom is just stuffed with fucking garbage and boxes up the wazoo. It's just another storage space. I mean, I'm not one to talk because I kind of store some stuff in our second bedroom too, so it's like I'm not really one to talk in that aspect, but like my parents live like 4 minutes away from me. It's not like they live a long way away. So it's like, and I don't really have guests staying overnight. So it's like, but like, so I guess I'm not one to talk in that aspect, but it's like, it's a thing like, oh, your parents are like visiting from a far away. You kind of want them to like spend the time with you and like host them in your house. It's like a proud moment in a child's life. And it's like very courteous and stuff. Not be like, hey, mom and dad, I know you guys like came from all the way across country to visit me. Go to a fucking hotel. Bye. Like, what the fuck?
He said that was discourteous.
It is discourteous.
Huh? Now that I'm really confused about. If you were going to go visit
because you're not a human
stay
being
with them for a week, and they had a small spare bedroom that wasn't set up as a bedroom, so you're going to have to sleep on like crappy accommodations, like a inflatable mattress on the floor or something, right? Or if they said, instead of that, I'm going to pay for you to have a suite. You know the suite at a hotel room where it's like the giant room where you have 2 rooms you walk between and it has all that shit, you know what I mean? A really nice one. I'm going to pay for that for you to stay there instead, and I'm going to give you my BMW to drive around town while you're here. Would you be upset that I said, I'm going to do that for you? Or would you like to just stay in the house that's in a bedroom that's not set up as a bedroom and sleep on the floor? I'm a little confused about that one. That one, I really feel like now we're starting to get nitpicky. My parents loved the fact that we got them the hotel room. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It has a big suite. It's got its own kitchen.
Actively watching DSP, who was streaming around 6 times a week for several hours at a time, was no small feat. What started as laughing at Phil's terrible gameplay had turned into a higher investment into his continuing dramas.
Yes, so here we go. Here's when it goes from literally, okay, Phil is a bad gamer, to Phil is a bad person. So now, let's go extreme into his personal shit in his life rather than just deride his gameplay. This is kind of weird.
Well, you are a bad person, and you showed us you were a bad person. Because if you were a normal Let's Player, you wouldn't have brought up all this private information. So in a way, it's a little bit on you too. It's a little bit your fault because you were sharing all this personal information, you know, showing us how negative of a person you are.
It starts.
Tumblr tries to capture the drama in 2014. From this magazine that states Phil whines about losing a lot, to Phil spending and conflict with creators like PewDiePie, who was now in on making fun of Phil. Phil's e-begging, conflicts, forum drama, a list of over 2,000 words. The most shocking fact was that it was still missing a fair amount of Phil's exploits. To capture it all and understand it all for entertainment was a process that loses its entertainment value.
And that's the thing. Like, I want you to think about that. So these are the people who become obsessed. Most people are like, I'm happy to just laugh. I'll watch the This Is How You Don't Play, and I'll laugh at Phil because he sucks at games, right? And it became a meme, and I reacted badly. But then you get the people who become the hyper-obsessed people who, like, it is now their agenda to memorize everything I've done, what they consider wrong, okay, in a year, and start fucking really getting crazy stalkerish.
Oh, are we talking about Secret Limited now, Phil? How he used to have his yearly recap of all the top 10 worst moments of 2023, whatever year it is.
Right?
The majority of people are only
I miss
interested in
Secret
the wellness
Limited.
clips of Phil. Then you have those that watch hour-long This Is How You Don't Plays, then those that interact with Phil to try to get a rise from him and seek discussion of him. And then you have an entirely different people, one that tops the spectrum of investment and are not motivated by entertainment, but malice.
The following announcement has been paid for by the
okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SOK cast.
Oh, Lord,
If you guys
these
want to introduce
losers.
yourselves? I'd be more than
What's
happy
going
to.
on, everybody? Fred Fox again.
And Superior Artist, or Superior Snorez.
This is Renegade Operative here.
Evil AJ 2010 here.
That's okay.
And Carson, right?
Yeah, Miles.
And we are going to be joined by Lupo572 shortly.
That was his son.
At this point, I might just let this play for a while, and I'll absorb it. I have literally heard absolutely none of any of this. I never paid attention to these
Bullshit.
people. I never listened to the I never paid a moment. It was only I heard things about them, but I just made content and ignored it. So I'm going to be learning along with you. If you didn't know anything about these guys, I don't know anything either. Here we go.
Sons of Kojima podcast. This channel rallied the prominent detractors of DSP. Fred Fox was at the helm, a name chosen through an angry video game nerd video.
Fred Fox?
There are many things that make this channel exceptionally unique. Primarily is that this is a dedicated channel that trumps all others in terms of effort. The members that ebb and flow always had Fred Fox pathing the way, creating multi-hour-long podcasts, and though they put in much effort, they were getting arguably the least amount of traction for their investment. Rarely do detractors get less views than Phil himself, but when it came to the SOK, rarely did any other videos ever outperform Phil. The reason was that they were at the highest tier of investment in terms of Phil. They reached an extremely niche audience in an already superbly niche environment.
Right, if you're going to make it This Is How You Don't Play, right? That's making fun of a playthrough of mine, and it really highlights my shortcomings or whatever, and it's funny to the comments.
Yeah, I mean, the dude had no obligation to demonetize his channel, and I don't think he should have done it just despite DSP or prove something to DSP, because Duty had nothing to disprove or nothing to, you know what I mean? So, like, he shouldn't have, if he did demonetize his channel, he didn't have to at all.
In person, that's going to work on YouTube. If you're hyper analyzing,
DSP was just trying to scare him or scare other people into demonetizing the channel when we don't owe Phil anything. Like, you know what I mean? It's fair fucking use.
To the point where only the most obsessed person would know or care what you're even talking about, you're not going to get traction on YouTube. That's the difference here.
Where the majority of videos were made to laugh at Phil's failures, the Sons of Kojima was trying to interact with Phil and in many ways make his life worse. On the surface, they would promote what they believed was their moral superiority by leading a charity drive that funded the construction of a well in Africa. But they, mostly through Fred Fox's will, attempted to dictate detractor communities beyond their own. They made the rule that detractors cannot monetize their channels and or make profit through Phil as to remain morally superior. Yet they, in the
which is again one of the more fucked up things.
Would work with others to strike Phil with illegitimate copyright strikes. Fan art played a central role in this campaign. Yep. In 2015, the Sons of Kojima ran free, and it's difficult to say how many trolling campaigns they were launching during this time. A time where Phil's views, for now the third year straight in 2015, were on a steep decline. The trolling community was active like never before, and Phil continued to suffer from the ramifications of his terrible financial decisions. Possibly to offset his continued losses, Phil was committed to launching this Patreon. But there was an issue. There was already a darksydephil Patreon. This had many subscription tiers. On the lowest side was $1, or This Is How You Don't Donate tier. On the highest end was the 7 million tier, or the theft tier. In between these were 15 more tiers, littered with inside jokes making fun of Phil. This parody Patreon, as it reserved the name darksydephil, was sequestered, and in January, Phil launched his Patreon to mediocre success. In February, the number of patrons greatly rose to 74, paying out a total of $1,166. What influenced this surge was Phil redesigning his Patreon to center around milestones that once
AKA begging for it.
would guarantee the release of a video or a stream around a game. Like,
And now I'll just say this in retrospect, I bit off way more than I could chew. Okay, I should not have approached Patreon in this manner because already I was working 6 to 7 days a week so much, and now I'm taking on even more responsibility to do extra content on top of that to receive more money from Patreon, and I was not equipped to do it. All right, I definitely screwed up and then eventually completely changed the way that my Patreon worked to not be doing these kind of tiered things over the years because I couldn't handle it. But I did. It's my fault. That's like I say today, I don't like to overpromise and underdeliver. I learned that lesson from my Patreon 9
DS Booney? Oh my god.
years ago from fucking it up. All right, so here we go.
Like Minecraft, that Phil had a change of heart with. Fans now understood that this was not so much a donation, but a guarantee, held by Patreon's milestone goals and Phil's own words.
But it's not just a way of saying, here, take my money, and thank you. It's a way of investing. You spoke in droves and said, we don't just want pure raw gameplay anymore. We want montages. We want better edited content in addition to the raw gameplay, and we like special events. You get what you want.
This had the added benefit of regaining some favor with his audience. He even began releasing edited montages around months or just his own game series. These, by their nature, were meant to compete against This Is How You Don't Plays, or at least capture some of the market. As they failed to compete with them or even just surpassed his raw gameplay videos, he reserved them to a Patreon tier. Also, during this time, some videos criticizing DSP were being taken down. While DSP blames these takedowns on Machinima acting in their own interest, viewers took it as DSP wanting to suppress the negative attention.
Which wasn't the truth at all. And I've already formally covered this. Last year, I did a special event on this channel about my history with Machinima, and I showed the receipts. I showed that Machinima, who was my partner network at the time,
Receipts, he says. Okay, sure.
heard about
Receipts.
my detractors, and they emailed me and said, Phil, we heard about this. We want to take action on it now. So what we're going to do is we're going to use your channel to issue strikes and things. They screwed it all up.
And
They
you're
never should have
still
done it
doing
like
it to this
that, 'cause even
day,
They
though.
didn't understand the nature of DMCA law. They were issuing these takedowns without the intention of ever suing anyone. They were actually doing it wrong, but they were doing it through my channel. So it
And
made it look
you're
like
still
I was
doing
the
it
asshole
wrong to
doing
this
it.
day
So now
because
all my
you're
detractors
still
are pissed at me,
striking
why are you
others.
taking down our videos. I'm literally not doing it at all. I don't have control of this. They're doing it on my behalf. I guess.
And now you're doing
So
it.
after doing that
Or you're getting other people to do it on your behalf. Like Superhound is doing it on your behalf. It's like, oh, well, technically it's not me doing it. Yeah, but you're sending your little guard dog to go and do it on your behalf. So it's still you, technically, because you're starting this shit.
for a few months. Like, they tried to take down a whole bunch of videos, right? And what happened is all the people just disputed those claims. And so they all got reinstated. All those videos within like 2-3 weeks got reinstated on YouTube. And I said to Machinima, you realize now everyone hates me and the videos are still live. So then what Machinima claimed they did.
Well, everyone
they
hated
claimed
you
they went to the
before
content
that.
ID system and they claimed my detractors videos. But they never once explained to me how much, even though if they ever paid me a single penny for it. They might not have. They might have actually content ID claimed a bunch of my detractors content and This Is How You Don't Plays and pocketed the money and never said a word to me because I have no evidence that they ever paid me for it.
Yeah, Crafty. I would probably do the same thing
now
if they
everyone
were.
hates me in 2015 saying, hey, Phil copyright striked all our
But again, it's like for me, it's like my parents literally live like 4 minutes away drive. It's like there's no, I can't see any thing that would happen where they would have to spend a night over at my place when they live so freaking close. But if they were, I would clean up space. I would make space. I have a pull-out couch, and they could probably use that because like my guest room doesn't have a bed in it either. But like, I mean, if they had to, I could make it work, and I would clean up and give it space for them.
videos when I literally did not. Okay, I literally did not. And now everyone hates me. All my detractors are after me because of this. Okay.
As these
And I have evidence. I have the emails. I showed the receipts last year.
takedowns happened in March, the channels willing to fight the claims were reinstated in April. But when
There
they
you
were
go.
reinstated, they were immediately claimed, meaning that
Oh,
they
of
could
course he
remain
doesn't
up,
love
but all the
them.
money would go to Machinima.
There you go.
The same month, DSP released a video of him performing various actions and screen footage to be released.
I knew that they would do that. The fans could.
To Phil's decline in views, his alcoholism, and the copyright strikes applied to detractor channels. Additionally, Phil's diet of fast foods was coming back at him in full force. After all, current day, there is at least 17.5 hours of footage of Phil consuming fast foods or foods of similar quality.
Yep. My foot is incredibly swollen. You cannot.
Oh,
the
it's
gout
the
saga.
gout.
The gout saga.
Gout,
I didn't
gout,
use to
gout,
put this in
gout.
here, but okay.
Tell from what I wanted to show you there. It's about, I'd say about 1.5 times the chubbiness of my other foot. So after doing a bunch of research online and after what everyone's been telling me, it sounds to me like I might have gout.
Gout, or historically known as the disease of kings, is
The what? The disease of kings? Hold on a second. King Phil?
Well, you didn't know that? You didn't know it was called that?
Disease? It's pretty funny now. It's pretty ironic now that that's what it's called, because now it's happened in the last month. The memes.
Yeah, you're the king of gout, Phil.
But
Congrats.
back then, it was just like, you know,
The king of gout,
this really painful thing
the
going
king
on,
of lies.
Right? So guys, just so you know,
the
we're gonna go
jester
about another half hour
of
tonight,
lies.
okay?
Oh my
It looks like if we go another half hour,
More begging.
if you like the stream, you want to contribute
More
to that,
begging.
right?
Gout? How do you...
This news spread quickly.
He has gout? How do you... How does he have gout?
Gout, copyright strikes, continued loss of viewerships, and the rise of the Sons of Kojima were only the start of Phil's difficulties for 2015. His financial situation had gotten to the point that he was selling his statues that he could not accurately declare the quality of.
Yep. Back of the box, as you can see, very durable. When it moved, it even got a little nick in it, but it did absolutely no damage to anything inside because it has lots of styrofoam inside.
Oh
This
my
phone
gosh.
has
And it
damage.
broke. I
Gotta
broke
call
the
that out.
cone because I was
As poor as
playing
Phil
with
was
it.
with communication, there was one instance that him reaching out very well saved his life.
All these super. Yep. Uh-oh. Hold on, everyone. Here it is. I might have some cops outside. Hold on. 2015, this happened when I was playing Batman Arkham.
And this was a wellness check. It was not an actual swatting. They didn't break the door down with a battering ram. It was literally just a wellness check to go see if he was okay. That's all it fucking was.
In the afternoon of June 24, 2015, someone called Phil's local police department claiming they had shot their parents and had a hostage. This was a swatting, and the police had to respond. Luckily, Phil had called ahead in fears that something like this would happen. Due to that, and because the caller did not identify themselves, they went in with the expectation that they were possibly not in danger. If not for these circumstances, this visit could have ended far worse.
Yep. Shame
Yeah, okay.
on you. If you ever made it, this is how you don't play about me. If you ever decided to
if
follow me on
only.
your own account on Twitter, do
Oh wait, I
some
didn't say
shit
that.
on
What?
YouTube,
Huh?
If you thought it was funny to dox
Didn't say
me,
anything.
If you thought it was the
In Minecraft.
videos were funny, you almost got me killed. You. Yes, you.
This shifting of
Okay,
blame and
good.
unjustly
I'll take
targeting the
I'll take
detractor
credit for
community as
that.
a whole for the deranged acts of one person further soured relations with the detractors, yet gained a bit of sympathy for those that were not in this vortex.
So, to
Oh my
look
gosh.
at it now, of course, I don't think that this is how you don't play has created that situation.
Mhm.
But it's sad that what happens is you get the obsessive people, correct? It's like I said when I did the react.
You would have got the
documentary
obsessive
on this channel
people
with
no
the
matter
guy from
what
PCO
anyway.
last month. I said, please understand
Hey,
that even though we're
and like Phil acts like you're a detractor for other people though. You don't get that? You're a detractor for Review Tech USA. Are you not? You were joining Kino Casino and making fun of Review Tech USA, so you're a detractor of him, just like we're a detractor of you, Phil. But he's claiming moral superiority over here. I'm like, okay, Phil,
about to make
sure.
fun of Rich. This is not us. Hey, go harass him. Go do horrible things to him. We're gonna make fun of him, but we're not going to say hurt him.
Well, the one thing he is, what's the right word? Guilty of is tax fraud and perjury, technically, in court. So theoretically, he could. I don't know how long the what's the right word for it? I don't know how long they can go. How many years they can go back and charge him for that is, but technically he lied in open court. He committed perjury and bank fraud. So they could always come back and get him for that. I doubt it's going to happen, obviously. That's not probably... They have more important things to do than that, but it's a possibility.
Okay? There's too many people on this planet that don't have that level of intelligence. They think that because you're making fun of someone...
Says the guy with, like, literally zero intelligence whatsoever.
Hurt them. That they are like a villain or Satan or the devil, and the world is good and bad, black and white, heroes and villains, evil and justice, and they don't understand that it's going to the extreme.
Says the guy who literally is living life in black and white. This guy doesn't understand what gray means. He's always like living in absolutes. You're either this or you're that. You're with me or you're against me. There is no in between with DSP.
It's like even on places like KiwiFarms.com.
So this is all projection and cope.
Josh Moon, who I just spoke with a couple weeks ago. The philosophy there is you don't mess with these people who you don't like. You can make fun of them, but if you actually interject yourselves into their lives,
we don't, Phil. 99.9% of detractors don't actually interact with you personally. Which, like, I'm making a stream right now where I'm laughing and making fun of you, but I'm not interacting with you personally, am I? Am I going over there and reporting your channel for this or that? No. Most people just laugh at you. Because we don't have to do anything to you, Phil. You're going to do it to yourself eventually. You're always the reason you fail. It's always because of you, not us.
You are a bigger lolcow than they are, right? And that's the problem, is this person, whoever this nut job was, okay, who did this swatting, essentially was a crazy person who listened to This Is How You Don't Play, who listened to my detractors, who listened to everyone making fun of me and said, well, I'm gonna ruin his life today. I don't really care. I'll just do it. Here we go. And that's the extreme. So here's me, you know, I'm so emotionally upset at what happened, the fact that I could have died that day, that I'm lashing out at the internet saying shame on you for all the shit that you've done to me now, because it's all led to this extreme moment of messed up shit, right? To some extent, that's true, but do I really think that the people who were making this?
Can you imagine if he actually did get shot and killed that day somehow?
It's just sad. It's a slippery slope at the internet. That there are
Man, that would be so weird.
Who do fucked up things because
funny but weird.
The difference between a joke and messing with someone and making fun of them, or actually wishing them physical harm and pain. And that's
most people don't.
You know, I lost my cool.
Most people don't want you dead, Phil. You do realize that most detractors don't want you dead. They don't even want you to go off the internet. They're like, we'll just sit here to watch and laugh at you. We're laughing at you, Phil. We don't want you fucking dead. It's a very, very small minority that actually hates you.
Were being irresponsible with the power they had on the internet, not realizing that the actions they were taking were actually leading to people hate me so much that they wanted to kill me.
Phil was frustrated not just at the detractors, but also
his YouTube channel gets haunted by a spirit and he still keeps playing.
Detractors as a whole were at fault was contained to his own platform. Little did Phil know there was more negative attention on him than ever before. His streams, tweets, forums, Patreon were all being monitored and archived. The following month, Phil on his own forums equated using the chat function on his live streams but not donating as loitering. But it's okay because he's lenient. As much as he claims to be, his audience from both sides were not convinced.
That's absolutely ludicrous. That's probably me just being really angry at someone and being an asshole. That's absolutely ludicrous. Oh, it's not loitering. It's the only time that I will get upset is, let's say, for example, right now, we're doing a stream on this documentary, right? And you guys have been talking all night. You're on topic. Imagine if someone comes in here and all of a sudden
he'd e-beg the devil himself. Although I guess it wouldn't be e-begging, it'd be begging. But
you derailed the stream. It's off topic. You're not supposed to do that. That's like going into a place of business, not spending any money while you're in there, but just standing around.
Oh my God, you don't have a place of business, Phil. You don't have a physical fucking business anymore, or ever. I mean, what time are we at? I know we're not that late, but my throat's starting to hurt from screaming at this idiot. I don't know if I should just try to finish this up, or if I should just end it and come back and finish it next time, or what?
Doing shit that's unrelated to the business, right? It's not allowed. It's called loitering. But no, you can come in here as long as you're respectful and you follow the rules and you're not derailing. Anyone's welcome in my chat. This is just me being really pissed off right here about dumb shit. You know, me being unhinged at the swatting and everything. It made me lose my cool and say dumb shit like this.
Especially with the troubles on his Patreon. A new milestone goal at $1,250 was Project 7.
I knew this was coming. So here we go. Let's tackle the Patreon thing.
Rebirth. Quote, if this goal is reached, I will take away at least 2 days, if not 1 to 2 full days in August to write, record, and work on the renewal of Project 7, with the hope that I'll at least have something to show for it by the end of the month.
Gee, doesn't say trailer there at all, does it, Phil? No trailer whatsoever, huh?
Unquote. In no way, other than to drive Patreon donations, does this goal make sense. The original Project 7 was a failure by all aspects, and now Phil was here offering to relaunch the series with just 2 days of work. Likely due to this, viewers were asking John Rambo if he was playing a part in it. Coincidentally, John Rambo on his own channel released a skit perhaps related to the news.
Hi, my name is John.
Well, I'll be honest, it's a little disingenuous because he's not talking about the fact that we were supposed to be doing content. The moment that I moved out here, we were going to continue doing our wrestling podcast. We were going to continue to do gameplay over the internet. And basically, we didn't do any of it because John kept backing out and saying he was too busy. I didn't understand that he had that resentment towards me that was revealed later on in that video that we've already gone over. But, you know, he's just saying, like, this just happened out of the blue. No, it did. Like, John was already kind of ghosting me and dodging me on working together and doing future projects and things. Already the friendship had unraveled by the time that this came out.
And I am special because I upload videos to the internet. But being so important does have its dark side. In fact, it means that my life is much more difficult than everyone else's. This is why I've opened a Pay Me Tons account. It's an internet website that allows people like me to receive lots of creativity from people like you. Simply log in and transfer the entirety of your bank account into my Pay Me Tons account. I won't even get out of bed for less than $50.
With Phil's relation with John Rambo in disarray and no
And
feasible
it's
way
true
to
for
relaunch
him,
Project
too.
7,
It
in
really
August, he
is.
announced the project would not become to fruition and would be replaced by another goal.
Actually, that's not what happened at all. I'll tell you in a second. So Bloom did the super J says, how about them Celtics? Starts on Thursday. I want to shout all this out before we our tip. We're in a streak. We're streak alive. All right. Now.
Oh Lord.
The true story.
Oh,
of
this
what's
was
going on
I didn't even notice. Yeah, this was when the streak was actually going somewhere.
here is
Until
that
it ended
that
at
Patreon
42.
goal was not Project 7 involved to imagining of the series of Death Face. We use dollar tip animation. Okay, that's Death Face. That this guy had kidnapped me and caught me in my condo and wouldn't allow me to leave until I played one of my most hated games of all time, the original version of Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation 1. And it was going to be an ongoing series where I do an edited, abbreviated Let's Play with skits and shit in it, going between me and this Death Face character, and basically ranking on the game, but also doing funny things that were outside of the comfort zone of just doing raw gameplay. So that was the original idea back then.
Which wasn't even his most hated game of all time, because he played the original and he said it was okay. He didn't say he hated it, so like I don't know why. I don't know.
Exactly, I got Jigsaw. It was like Jigsaw capturing me and forcing me to play this game I don't want to play to save my own life. Okay, so
Was it inspired by Angry Video Game Nerd? Yes, it was.
The goal was supposed to be I revived the original idea. So I sit down and offline, I'm playing Final Fantasy VII, and I'm doing edited videos and shit like that. Okay, that's what it was supposed to be. Had nothing to do with John, had nothing to do with Howard, had nothing to do with Respect the Pack whatsoever. But what happened was I 100% overextended myself. And that month I was so busy doing other things, I just didn't have time to get around to it. Yet I had already accepted an additional, I think it was an additional $250 to do it because I had tiered rewards. And I think the reward below was like $1,500, and then that one was like $1,750, or it could have been $1,250, $1,750. Anyway, it was hundreds of dollars that supposedly I had accepted in order to reboot this series. I told everyone, listen, my time is so pulled, tight right now. We could do two things. Either we cancel the whole thing and we'll have to think of something else, or I could do a trailer for Project 7. That's just a short video clip. You tell me if you like it. If you like it, great, we'll continue. If not, forget it. We'll cancel the whole thing and we can move on and do different goals next month.
I hope you hate it. I hope you hate it.
We don't care about this Project 7. This was you coming up with this idea because you.
Oh yeah, sure.
We don't care about it.
Yeah, they all said we don't care. We all said I didn't. What is this repeated thing? What is this? I have received. Oh, just that. Okay. All my chat, all my viewers, they were in agreement that they didn't care about this at all. They sang it from the mountaintops. Not one fan of mine said they cared about this. Not at all. When in reality, one person said this. But no, one person means all my fans everywhere. Okay, fine.
So don't do it. Like, literally don't do it. We think that it's going to be boring. We'd rather see you play games and do other projects and other things. So I said, okay, we won't do it. Let's cancel the whole thing. So we did, and then I had another goal in place of it. Well, there was two people who were upset that were longtime fans. One forgave me, one did not.
Casino Bros, what did you do? Ralph has declared war on Phil for when one spaded Phil into talking about Ralph and Rick Ray the other night. I just saw Ralph calling out, oh no, oh yo, Phil, Ralph is definitely gonna do something. Sure.
One literally said, I'm never gonna deal with you ever again.
Ralph ain't gonna do shit.
Okay? I'm never gonna do ever again because FYI, I really wanted Project 7 and you overpromised and underdelivered. And I said, you know what? Fair enough. If we never speak again, I accept it. It was my failure.
One person said it. Okay.
Okay. But that was it. Me for this, it was only my detractors that made a big deal out of it. Because keep in mind, it was only like a few $100 game or something in place of it. Everyone was fine with that. There was no big controversy in my community and viewers. It was only out promised and turned into something full blown like, oh, he's a liar. He doesn't come through on his promises. He stole and pocketed money. He scammed his audience. It literally didn't happen. Okay? But they'll never admit that because they all talked about it for so long. Like it was a big deal. They just fucking, blew it up. And now they all believe it. They all literally believe I scammed my...
You scam your audience for a lot more than just this one instance, Phil. This is not the only instance of you scamming your audience or not. There is more than just this. It wasn't just this one instance. You know that, right, Phil?
Viewers for Project 7 when it never happened, okay? I got a $5...
Alan Wake montage that the patrons voted for would also be canceled after a single episode.
Oh, good. The power went out. I'm not even kidding you.
Almost as if it was retaliatory, fan art that Phil used in his videos was being used to illegitimately strike his channels. To avoid further strikes, he deleted the videos that included the art, which amounted to 600 videos off his channel.
Yep. So he panicked, because like even if its channel got taken down temporarily, Like, he could have appealed to Machinima and they would have had it back up in like a couple days. A day, maybe 2. But Phil prematurely panicked and deleted over 600 videos, which killed him in the YouTube algorithm. It like, because obviously, like, the algorithms, YouTube, whatever, sees that, thinks something must be really wrong with this shit, and he's probably still facing the repercussions of that, even to this fucking day, probably. It really hurt his channel way worse by him doing this than it would have been if he received one more strike from it or not.
This amounted to around 4 million views removed, and on Social Blade it showed that for the month of August he netted a total of negative 1.37 million views. That's why in November he insisted that through a strange, unverifiable string of events that this deletion of views was causing a drop-off in his channel. In this near 44-minute, long-winded video, Phil recounts to his audience that it was Machinima that instructed him to delete those 600 videos that caused a small dent in his total viewership, but does not provide evidence of Machinima doing so because he claims he was instructed via a conference call.
That's correct. It was a conference call.
And you can't record those.
With YouTube literally got off the call, got back on the line with me and said, delete the videos now because if you don't, they're all going to get stricken. They said that there's a ton of fake strikes in the pipeline, and if you don't delete the videos, you will get stricken down and your channel will be removed from YouTube. So I had to delete.
I'm pretty sure Machinima would have been able to bring it back, Phil.
600 videos, all of which had tons of views, 40 million views or something like that, deleted from my channel, showing that I had negative views that month, and it literally kicked my YouTube channel out of the YouTube algorithm, meaning if you searched for me, you couldn't find me anymore. You would only find my detractor.
Yeah, because you did that.
Content, and it hurt my channel just went way down after that.
Then he claims an anonymous insider told Phil that this subtraction of views brought him down in the invisible total rankings, and that YouTube was still using that archaic system of promoting videos via their channel's total accumulated views. The only thing is...
No, that's not true at all. What happens is if YouTube sees that you have deleted several videos, or if your channel has a huge deletion of views, it sees that as something very negative happen, and the algorithm will no longer favor you. Keep in mind, up until 2015, the algorithm favored DSPGaming.
It's okay, I don't blame you. I blame your uncle for touching you and what the fuck?
Because for 5 straight years...
What is wrong with these people? I mean, I know a lot of the people in here are Kino Casino dents at the time. Because I don't think currently Phil is getting any extra views from the Kino Casino dents, but at this time, I think he was. So a lot of these people are more Kino Casino dents.
Putting out so much content and getting so many views
and I think I'm pretty sure they got bored
at the height and forefront of gaming. Even though I wasn't nearly as popular as I once was, if there was a new game coming out and I played it at release day, I would be in the top search pages for new game releases. Okay? After this happened, after I deleted all those videos, I no longer showed up in search results for big game releases ever again. I was gone. I was erased from the YouTube algorithm because of this change of deleting all these videos. It has nothing to do with overall views. It has to do with YouTube seeing you delete shit. Then the algorithm says, oh, something was wrong, right? Like the channel had bad content and had to be removed or whatever, and the channel was punished. Now, funny enough, okay, YouTube didn't mention this to Machinima. When YouTube told Machinima, tell Phil to delete this video, when notably I used to get to go like this in the fall, and instead I
it's all YouTube's fault now. Okay, not Machinima's fault. Right.
That all existing evidence works against him. The strongest evidence is in his Social Blade. Contrary to what he is stating, he has had far worse drop-offs in views. And actually, late 2015 were the most stable than they'd ever been. From November of 2011, he was losing over 1 million viewers on a daily basis. Yet now, in late 2015, he was worried about a small fluctuation of around 200,000 viewers. What's more, the deleted views against Phil's total views would have been so insignificant, it would have no effect on his channel. Then again, there is a benefit in...
That's wrong. My point
wrong. Joon the King is a liar.
On Social Blade, every fall, when the new games came out and I was playing all the hot new releases, I would get a spike in views. After these false copyright strikes hit and I deleted all those videos, I never received a spike of views like that.
Not his fault, though. This can't be because people didn't want to watch him.
The evidence is there if you
the YouTube isn't promoting your shit now, Phil. They still aren't.
Actually look at the right parts of Social Blade.
And framing this natural downward trend as an emergency.
But when this shit happens with YouTube and I have no control over it, I need your help. And if you really
just using it for excuse to beg more.
This hardly helped his Patreon that was already being scrutinized due to his unfulfilling of initial goals. And more than just his patrons were distrusting of Phil. On Thanksgiving 2015, Phil uploaded an Ask the King episode where he answered fan questions.
Oh,
Fans
Lord.
seeking an update on John Rambo asked Phil where he stood with him.
I hope that people don't take this the wrong way, but in life, if you have something that you want to say, or you
look, it's the chain that Phil says he never wore. The chain that Leanna gave him. That he said But he claims he never
issue with
wore
someone, all right, say it, bring it up, hash it out. If something happens and you don't bring it up and you let
it.
resentment
Nice
build up,
bling, Phil.
that's when relationships get ruined, right?
Fans unsated with Phil's answer, like with the relaunch of Project 7, were reaching out to John Rambo on Thanksgiving to ask how he felt about Phil.
I want you to think about this. Fans were reaching out. Oh, you mean call me beggar? It's not my fans. It wasn't my fans reaching out to John Rambo. It was my detractors. Just like it was my trolls who were telling John Rambo during Project 7 that I was taking credit away from him by saying things like I did in that video previously tonight. It was always the trolls. It was always the detractors. They were the ones wedging themselves into the relationship, causing resentment, causing stress and problems, and harassing John into saying,
All right, so it's our fault as detractors, and we caused Phil to treat John poorly. Because John wasn't fed up with the detractors, he was fed up with you and how you were mistreating that friendship. So we didn't cause you to act that way towards him.
I don't want to have anything to do with Phil anymore because look at all the stress that it's caused.
Oh,
2 days later, on
bullshit.
November 28th, they, including
What
Phil, were
cope?
given their answer.
Hello,
Here it is. Here's the video.
I'm John, and I'm joined by Howard.
This was the same podcast that was used earlier in this video that talked about the production of Project 7. John Rambo decided to upload this to a separate channel and then deleted it about a day after. Then it was re-uploaded in perpetuity by channels archiving the material. And
Yeah, you have to wonder, when he uploaded it, right? He uploaded it, but maybe he felt bad that he had uploaded it after retrospect, especially because he probably saw a troll. It basically gave the trolls exactly what they wanted.
Oh,
And I'm not
yeah,
saying
yeah,
that's what was
okay.
going.
Now you're
I
just
think
putting words in his mouth, okay.
he was trying to just put something out there to get his emotions out of how he felt about our relationship over the years, but it fed into what the trolls wanted. So I think he thought, oh, maybe if I delete it quick, it'll go away. But no, that's the problem with the internet. When something's out there on the internet once, my detract
was this about hour-and-a-half podcast of evidence where John Rambo details his falling out with Phil. From Phil following him on Twitter, to Phil drunkenly messaging him late at night while watching their Let's Plays and not calling him even though John Rambo said he preferred that over text. It was all this, plus other minute issues like merchandise both parties invested in, Phil's susceptibility to trolling, his self-destructive tendencies, and other private elements that caused his falling out. At the end, John Rambo offers an olive branch by stating that a phone call could fix this. But Phil never did call. And so Phil lost touch with the last friend he had.
Aww.
Not even a month later, now closing 2015,
I like that little touch.
Phil never did call. And so Phil...
I like the two hats here. You got Phil's fucking Ask the King hat, and then you got Rambo's fucking cap. That's funny.
Lost touch with the last friend he had. Not even a month later, now closing 2015...
Apparently John can't think on his own, and so is Phil.
That's ridiculous. It's just, that's way over dramatic. I still had friends, just not friends.
Phil, you've said multiple times that your fans are not your friends. That your fans online are not your friends. You've said this. What other friends? What other? Do you have any real world friends that actually are like local?
Friends
Phil,
like John Rambo, who were public friends on YouTube. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
And by the way, if you want the full story, okay, from both perspectives,
we don't care. We already watched that.
Video, and you will play the entire thing, and I react to the entire thing. So obviously, you're not.
Phil that they would no longer honor the $2 CPM contract and would instead swap to paying him with the raw ads, which would further decrease his earning potential. Everything appeared to be working against him, and the idea that was meant to breathe life into his channel did not come. What did come was something else.
Oh, here we go. So this is where we're gonna end it. For tonight, I said the incident would be a perfect place to end it for tonight. So let's do the incident, and then that's probably where we will end it for tonight. Okay. So by the way, last chance if you want to support the stream.
Oh my god.
Okay, welcome. Oh, the camera's on.
Oh, the camera's on the whole time.
Phil attempted to dismiss what he was doing by saying he was doing quote-unquote various stuff like scratching his leg.
That's right.
The bombardment of memes and other media would not allow Phil to dismiss this so easily. It was already clear that he was pleasuring himself on stream and forgot to turn the camera off. Keemstar, the owner of Drama Alert, a trending drama channel at the time, quickly picked up the story. It was then that Phil came clean and admitted to what he was doing. After Drama Alert and the internet as a whole spread the news, Darksydephil would be known, above all else, for this. A new nickname was passed around as DSP would be known as The Guy.
You didn't even know the camera was on.
It's the guy.
Are you the guy?
Because in theoretical conversation, when one introduces the subject of Darksydephil, the other participant would respond with, "Is that the guy that pleasured himself on stream?"
Yep.
Phil handled this remarkably well, making jokes about it and accepting his new identity.
He at first he did not. He was banning people who brought this up at first. He was still sticking to the thing. Was like, oh, I was scratching my leg or something like this. Like he didn't. He eventually laughed it off, but at first
You're absolutely right. That's what I'm known for.
You got exposed for doing that.
I got completely exposed.
His partners and Machinima were not so enthused, and sought to take down any re-upload they could find of the event. Whatever goodwill Phil had gained through the acceptance of this recent event was quickly lost.
And I did not tell them to do that at all. They did it on their own. And I actually, they came out.
Because they were embarrassed of
I literally
you.
responded to them saying, no, do not do anything. Like, I'm cool with it. I don't need any help. Everything's fine. And apparently they
were
behind my
embarrassed
back,
of you.
And they did shit to people who were actually like talking about it or showing
Oh,
it.
bullshit.
That was not
You
me.
were
That was
striking
Machinima.
people because of it. It wasn't Machinima.
On this very channel.
Stop using them as a scapegoat.
About it, and I showed all the receipts. They wrote me saying they wanted to take action for it. It had nothing to do with me. I told them, no, don't do it. I even showed that on stream. So if you want the receipts for that, you could find that already on the channel. I got a $2 tip. Friend Basal, I was living with my homeboy. I had the air at the time, I think, that I was playing Street Fighter with. I received a 10 just
Skipping tips.
very day that I did. Phil did.
God, this is like half the thing.
Say the king streak of positivity.
Oh my God, is this the king streak? Yes. Who cares?
Incredibly generous tip is up. Credit for his very.
Will you get to it?
His single post on his forum.
Hoping to get one more segment into this, so let's go.
In this single post on his forums, he insults 3 different creators who have audiences larger than his.
Because I'm a genius, right? Because I'm a complete genius.
You're a fucking moron, actually.
All right. At this point in my life, just to tell you a little bit about the incident. Do you want to know the truth of the incident? I'll tell you right now. The incident happened because behind the scenes, my life was falling apart.
Oh, yes, we're blaming Leanna for the incident. I forgot.
Not as much money as I used to financially because of my decline already.
Like, you don't need an excuse to masturbate. Like, you really don't. Like, everyone fucking masturbates. If you're a guy or if you're a girl, everyone fucking does it. It's fine. You don't need an excuse to like, well, the only reason why I masturbated was my life was falling apart. I just really needed that dopamine hit that comes from masturbating. It's like, you don't need a fucking excuse to like, and then, but the fact that he tries to spin this around that it was her fault, that it was somehow her fucking fault that he masturbated. It's just fucking insane.
And then the trolls hitting me with those false copyright strikes. None of them, her girlfriend fell apart. We basically then like in a romantic relationship. Hence, this is why that happened. Like I saw else in the house as my only private time away from me over there because we weren't getting along. Stress when I'm in here because I'm not making enough money. My detractors are shitting on me constantly. So, you know, that was really me, sadly.
Oh, and apparently it's our fault too now. I forgot. It's detractor's fault that he fapped on camera.
Was like me saying I was depressed. I was drinking very heavily, you know, at that point. And
you weren't depressed.
My private life,
that's not what depressed means.
And that was like the lowest low for me. And when it happened, I was like, let me put it this way. Like so many things were already going wrong that I was like, you know, it's ironic. It's just the next thing. So fuck this. You know, like who cares? It's not even a big deal to me. And so I could have reacted very poorly.
It should be a bigger deal to you, honestly, because you're still only known as that to this day. You're the only one. You like that's what you're known for.
I got some really good advice from one particular person, and that person knows who they are. And they said, even with everything going wrong in your life right now, just let it roll off your back, like you know, like water on a duck, right? Just play it off like nothing. Roll with the memes, roll with the jokes, tweet at Drama Alert and joke about it, make it publicly known. So I did, and because I did that, I saved my fucking career. Because if I had reacted poorly to that literally,
we're skipping this cope. Jesus Christ!
To pile on the dog pile of shit that was going poorly. So even though I reacted well there, now here we go. I'm upset and I'm fucking insulting people left, right, up, down constantly. I'm constantly being goaded by people to say things about other creators and shit, and it just blew up where everyone.
Okay, yes, everything is.
He calls Total Biscuits reviews overanalyzing, calls Jim Sterling's reviews that fool you into thinking they're intelligent with fancy wording, and Angry Joe's reviews bloated with skits
wait,
and
what was that?
Thinking they're intelligent with fancy wording.
Oh, you mean the thing Phil does all the time?
Calls Jim Sterling's reviews that fool you into thinking they're intelligent with fancy wording.
Yeah, that's exactly what Phil does. He'll try to use these bigger words in situations where they're not applicable, just to try to sound really smart and fool you into thinking he was really smart when he wasn't.
And Angry Joe's reviews bloated with skits and cosplay for kiddies to retain attention. The cherry on top was the purpose of this post was to represent his own views.
All right, do you want to know the absolute truth? Are you ready for this one?
Oh my God, stop lying. Who cares?
You want to know how bad and hypocritical
Just
I was?
admit that you were a dick.
Now. I swear to God, this is God's honest truth. I have never seen a piece of content from Total Biscuit or Jim Sterling. And I said that.
Wait, I'm pretty sure you did, because I'm pretty sure you reacted to Pretty sure you reacted to a clip from Jim Sterling, at least at one point, I'm pretty sure.
Those things. I have literally never watched a piece of content from either of those creators. It's insulting people for... I did see Angry Joe's stuff, and some of Angry Joe's stuff is quite good, and some isn't that good in my... I only saw one of them ever, and I just shat on them anyway. Again, the same pattern of me shitting on Minecraft and all this shit, it continued. The bad behavior was continuing over these years of me being this really just curmudgeoned, salty...
Still are. Like,
really
when have
upset,
you actually
jealous
changed, Phil?
asshole.
Because to me, it doesn't seem like you
Can
changed
you
at
imagine
all.
saying shit like that when you fucking never even saw a piece of their content? Like, why did I do that? I don't even know. I was just a piece of shit.
As superior.
Still are.
Quote, or if you actually want an honest review from an honest guy who's played video games all his life, has a huge wealth of experience / knowledge to draw
Nope,
upon, and
you
doesn't
don't.
have any bias towards anything, you can watch my review. Unquote.
Right.
Persisting on this path of self-destruction, the following month, Phil made an Instagram
This I remember. I basically took a stab at PewDiePie, and he gave me the stupidest response, and I was like, so confused. So let's see.
post calling PewDiePie's new buck meaningless for brain-dead idiots. This produced a response from PewDiePie, who simply responded with, quote, DSP upset he can't read.
That was literally his response. DSP is upset he can't read. I mean, honestly, I don't even know why he responded, right? Like, I'm so beneath PewDiePie, I have no clue why he even responded to my incredibly mean-spirited...
Because you were
salty
shitting on him. This happens every time. This is why the whole thing with Keemstar on Twitter started. It was because you were shitting on these people.
Post about him, I wouldn't have. I would have been like, this person's beneath me. They're obviously, have a grudge. So fuck this person. They're not worth my time, right? But he responded in the weirdest response ever. I'm upset I can't read. It's not even like oh, based. Oh, he razzed. It was like, huh? Like, who'd even say something like that? Like,
Well, it's probably true.
I'm not okay, sure.
Unquote. The source of Phil's frustration was his continued bleeding of views. He was jealous. And over several posts on his forums, relentlessly defended the idea that not editing his Let's Plays is what made him popular, while simultaneously furious at being disadvantaged, stating that the only barrier between him and hiring an editor is money. There was something different in Phil going on here. A panic, a lashing out, a misrepresentation of the truth.
Correct.
Not
He is nailing it on the head right here. He is 100% nailing the situation on the head as hard as you possibly can. That is exactly what was going on in my life. My business was falling apart, my personal life was falling apart, and I was changing for the worse.
Trick his viewership, but to try to fool himself. He was not concocting long-standing lies that would reach various people or form some campaign of misinformation or unverifiable fact. He was arguing with individual members on his forums with multi-paragraph long responses.
For no reason. Why the fuck am I doing that? Because I'm insanely insecure at this point and falling apart in my head.
As the users had grown accustomed
And
to,
I'm just
Phil was
noticing,
blaming this
like,
is how you don't play
while
for his
watching
failings,
this, the
calling them
editing is
slanderous.
really
A
fucking
user
good
of
in
the
this
chat was even
video.
banned for stating that they enjoyed their job and wouldn't prefer streaming. Phil was fighting with the very concept that the loss of viewership was his fault. It's a wonder what this fight with reality was doing to him. Out of his continued desperation, he was back on Twitch asking for more paid subscribers. Phil's loss of viewership had him left with the most dedicated supporters and detractors watching his streams. The worst part for Phil was this balancing act between dismissing detractors and appeasing supporters. Quote, I seriously need to start convincing people that YouTube isn't going to support me anymore, so they need to pledge a Patreon and or sub, get bits here. Because at this rate, it's a joke. I'm on pace to make half as much in December this year as I did last year, playing 4 new games. Just got a notification my bank account is overdrawn. Luckily, my machinima payment is literally coming through today. Unquote. To add salt to the wound, the infamous clip of Phil was strong in circulation even at the end of 2016.
Yep.
2017 started just as bad for Phil, as he announced that he had been renting his condo out in Connecticut, but that was no longer the case. More would be lost this year than any other.
Yep. Basically, what happened was, when I moved out of Connecticut, I couldn't sell the condo because the value of the condo had plummeted when I owned it. So I owed way more on the mortgage than it was worth. So I couldn't sell it. If I sold it, I wouldn't have enough money to pay off the mortgage. So when I moved, my aunt moved in there. Okay, now my aunt was elderly. And the thing was, she was going to live there for many years so she could be closer to my mom. Because the condo
Yeah, that
was right near
fucking
my parents'
bitch of an
house. My mom
aunt
was
who
just
gave me gout.
mother. And so the arrangement was she was going to pay me a certain amount of money a month as rent, and it was going to be working like that for as long as possible. My aunt fell down, broke her hip, and was stuck on the ground for almost 24 hours. No one knew. My mom went to visit her and she had the key to the house, found her on the floor, basically near death. And so she had to go into hospice for the rest of her life, which only lasted about another year. And now out of nowhere, I'm stuck with a condo with no renter.
Yeah, because that's the
I
worst
contacted
part of this
certain rental
story.
agencies in Connecticut, and they
I mean, who cares about that bitch of an aunt that I had? I mean, yeah, she fucking died. Oh well. But me, I mean, I'm stuck with this fucking condo. This is horrible.
actually said we refuse
Jesus.
to rent your condo and take care of it for you, because you could pay a company to do it for you, to find a renter and handle all that shit, because your condo is in what's considered a high risk area of Connecticut, where there are so many people who rent and then don't abide by the rules or don't pay rent and squat, that no one wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Sure they
I
said
couldn't
this.
rent it. So literally, not only am I losing all this money, my personal life is falling apart. Now this supplemental income that I was receiving every month from my aunt is gone, and there is no prospects of me finding a way to replace it. I'm fucked. And this was the beginning of my monster.
Well, that's still, again, this is your fault for moving to a new place before you paid off or sold the old place. Why the hell would you move across state and still pay 2 different mortgages? Why did you think that was a good idea to pay 2 different fucking mortgages, Phil? That was entirely your fault.
Stress, financial downfall. This was the beginning of the end for me at this point, okay?
On February 26, 2017, Phil participated with his viewers in a game of Quiplash 2. A game with pre-established questions that could be answered in any way. The goal is to win the favor of the competitors with the most compelling answer. This quickly delved into the memes both surface level and personal around Phil. For example, his seal laugh or ack.
DSP tries a KFC Gold Chicken or make more ad revenue than Phil.
My ack class.
Seal, that's cool. They're both good.
None of these had any major effect as Phil played along with the roasts. It wasn't until a player shoehorned in an answer that caused chaos.
Uh-oh. I don't even know what that means. Leanna's fake engagement ring. Huh? What does that mean? I never gave her an engagement ring.
Ah,
What
yes.
that even means. I don't understand. Is there something in the detractor circles about a fake engagement ring? What are you talking about? I don't even know about this. Let's see what this is about.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what they're talking about.
Engagement ring? Maybe this will be where we end for the night on this topic.
Uh-huh. Convenient.
I didn't give her an engagement ring. What? People are weird. What does that even mean? There's some stupid inside joke that I don't understand. What does that mean? It won, and it makes no sense whatsoever to anyone who's not into an inclusive circle jerking circle. That makes no sense at all.
Aw, so
What does
upsetty.
that mean? Is there actually like some kind of a joke about an engagement ring? Huh?
Not a joke.
Leanna posted it on her own Twitter. What are you talking about? It's about one of her Twitter pictures. I really don't remember this at all. I don't remember this.
How do you not remember
I still
this?
don't remember this. No, I'm not bothered by it at all, Bruno. I literally don't remember this happening at all. So I'm curious, like, what this is. Keep in mind, again, during this time, there's a lot of things going on between me and my ex, and our relationship was like on and off, falling apart. So I really don't even remember the specifics of this.
It means Leanna doesn't want you. She wants a real dick. Do you not even look at Leanna's Twitter? Just...
What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm just
That's
as
hilarious
confused as
because that
past
just
Phil.
shows how mind-fucked and stupid the people are.
He's so triggered right now, Phil. Leanna doesn't want you anymore. She wants the real man. Or the... Rhino cock? Okay. Because people are asking her why she's not married. It's the ring Tyrone gave her.
Who do this shit? These detractor idiots. Because no human would know what the fuck they're talking about. It's some completely inside... Fresh, right there in the chat.
No
Fresh Jack
human-
said, bro, this is your girlfriend. You don't read her own Twitter post? No, I didn't read her Twitter at all. I never read her Twitter post. They made up for themselves that no one would know anything about at all. It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero fucking sense. And it ends up being the big winner at the end of the game. That's so fucking stupid.
As was revealed to Phil through a video game, Panda Lee had been wearing a fake engagement ring to her job. Dissatisfied in the relationship and the lack of progress towards marriage, this was her way of lashing out and participating in the drama on Twitter.
No, I don't know about this at all. I really
How
don't
do
know
you not know
this.
about
This is the
this?
first time I know of this. I
What?
swear to God, I didn't know about this.
You
I just must have
liar.
blown it off that night and never looked into it ever again. I had no fucking clue that she was wearing a
Okay.
fake engagement ring to work.
Cut side Phil.
Wow. I told you I
Phil
was
the
going to learn some
cuck.
stuff watching this. I had no fucking clue. None.
Quote,
Womp
oh shit,
womp.
he knows about the fake engagement ring I wear to work that I wear all the time? How could he have known? Unquote. Panda Lee then posted the ring itself, captioned with Ringgate 2017. Panda Lee allegedly also took off work to experience the live drama that was unfolding. With her displeasure with Phil near its climax, it was a surprise they did not separate there. In the limelight instead was Machinima. With the
No, I don't even... That's it? That's all he's going to say?
Well, that was
I don't-
all there
I don't
really
remember
was.
this. No, I don't remember this. I still don't remember this. There's like a hole in my memory.
Bro, she wanted you to ask. Where were you really that deep into video games? That's
How the fuck?
a little
How do I
sad,
remember this?
honestly.
Did someone? I feel like Will Smith came in here and flashed my head like Men in Black. I don't
Oh
remember
my
this at all.
gosh.
Again, maybe because again the relationship was falling apart. So maybe I just like wasn't.
Oh, and you obviously weren't paying any attention to her, like,
Again,
at
we weren't spending
all?
our time together and
Clearly?
everything. We weren't. She was out hanging out with other friends and shit, and she was barely in the house.
Yeah,
for a long
getting
time.
dicked by Tyrone,
Maybe that's
yeah.
what was happening or something. That's probably what it was. I told you we were living together, but we were essentially roommates. Like we weren't actually like romantic anymore for almost a year during the end of that time period. So very much maybe she was doing it. I just had no clue. I wasn't aware of any of it. I was basically fooling the internet. I didn't tell anyone that this was happening. So everyone was under the impression that we're all still close and you know what I mean? But that we weren't. So basically this all happened behind my back and I had no clue and I never ever understood it. That's what I mean. I wasn't reading her Twitter at all. So I don't know anything about this. This 100% has blindsided me. Holy shit. By the way, I received, and this is a $2 tip. All right, thank you for that. To harass me, basically, because they're idiots. So that's why. You know what I mean? Bloomkid, thanks for the super. So pick up with the breakup. Okay? All right, let's do it. Let's do this final segment about Machinima and Poltavi.
Apocalypse in full swing, earnings down, and the company model a complete failure, they had less support to answer creators who were feeling the brunt of the loss of ad revenue. Contacts meant for dire situations.
Oh, no.
That's when on February 28th, a Machinima employee reached out to Phil and gave...
I used the wrong keyboard and it fast forward. Let's do this again. I screwed up. Sorry about that. What the hell's going on?
In the limelight
You
instead
fucked
was
it up.
Machinima. With the apocalypse in full swing, earnings down, and the company model a complete failure, they had
Yeah,
less
I was
support to
confused
answer
there for a
creators who were
second,
feeling
what the
brunt
fuck?
of the loss of ad revenue. Phil, being one of these creators, reached out, but Machinima was slow to
I love
answer.
these,
And
like,
so he was
3D
emailing not just former
polygraphics,
employees that had
too.
been fired without his knowledge, but emergency contacts meant for dire situations. That's when on February 20...
That's not true at all. I only emailed 2 people. One person used to be a contact who I worked with at Machinima who had offered me free like free games and stuff as promotions with Machinima, and the other person was supposed to be my direct line of contact for Machinima on anything. It was not an emergency contact, only for emergencies.
He didn't exist there anymore. He was fired and moved around,
A
Phil.
Machinima employee reached out to Phil and gave him the basic advice to increase his audience retention and kindly to not message other departments. Phil's full, alleged response was locked in on Machinima's request to not
Do you
message
know
other
who I
departments.
am?
Phil used his history with the company as a reason to act in the way he pleases.
I love this little this little wing hand thing that he has here. Like, you don't even know who I
And
am,
demands better
okay?
treatment. If
I
he's
am
not
the
treated better, he states he's
Darksydephil.
better off not working with them.
That's right.
Machinima, more than happy to oblige, released Phil from the contract.
That's
After
right.
all, per their contract, there were
I
only
love
losing
that. Bye.
money with Phil because he was earning 100%
Oh,
of
that's
ad
so
revenue.
great.
Phil was relating this moment to when he got fired from his office job in 2010. As seen per Fred Fox capturing of Phil's Twitch chats, Phil was acting as if he was blindsided by his own requests, stating, quote, "There is no 2 or 1 month notice. That is complete BS, lol, but this situation is pretty unique." Unquote.
Yeah,
His
'cause you
video
told them
released shortly
basically
after,
to
Phil
fire
dissects
you,
the
Phil.
separation of Machinima, then dissects it again and again and again, then loses his train of thought, thanks his followers, asks for donations, and again restates what has been overtly established, yet never provides a satisfactory answer. That's why his video is nearly 2 hours long to explain that the contract with Machinima has been terminated. And as per the description, quote, "I cannot give all the details, but in this video I explain what's going on," unquote. This is all beyond minutia. That besides Phil's uncreditableness or dishonest nature is why few would ever care for his side of the events. His long-windedness buries his own reasoning or retelling of events even further than it.
This is cool. This is cool. The picture right here, it's like animation and stuff. That's supposed to be like my room. That's a really cool animation he made for this.
Several uploads a day do.
Well, I don't think he made it. I think he paid someone to do it, but it's still
For
pretty
any
cool.
controversial moment, Phil is certain to extend what should be a clear and concise response into a multi-page long essay or
Oh, it's
hour-long
probably
video.
AI
It took
created,
about
to be
10
honest,
days or so
but-
for Phil's channel to be fully released. And then, it took about an additional week for him to fight various content ID claims himself, as would normally be the responsibility of Machinima. Phil was quick to find a different multi-channel network to partner with. This time it was Curse. Unlike Machinima, who was trying to inflate the numbers, Curse did not give Phil a 100% cut of ad revenue, nor was he in a managed partnership. This means that they would not be responsible for his 30 or so content ID claims that he was getting a day on his 40,000 uploaded videos. The ongoing developments of
30 content strikes a day? Jesus Christ.
2017 were scarcely predictable. In April, Phil submitted to Panelle's request and per her Instagram post, were now engaged. The detractors' persistent monitoring allowed them to find the ring almost immediately. It was one that Pandalei personally liked on her Blackcurrant account, which is the name of her soap-making business. Detractors, tracing this back to Amazon, found that Phil had spent on the lower end for this ring, a testament to his detractors' obsession and/or Phil's dwindling finances. By May, Phil had concluded a 2-month-long talk with a different network that introduced themselves as Poltavi. They offered Phil a cut similar to Curse and a managed partnership. And while he found Poltavi unprofessional in their exchanges, he found their offer to be too enticing to give up, and severed his partnership with Curse, though Phil had made a great mistake.
This is all untrue.
What?
Well, it's half true, okay? So Poltavi is a scam. They don't exist. They were a different company entirely. They had lied about who they were. But I
it was like Laveria, right?
I said, I like being with you guys, but I mean, you have to understand this company is like promising me the world. I'd like to experiment with them, but I'm not going to give them full control of my channels. I'm only going to give them control of one of my 3 channels, or excuse me, one of my 2 channels. No, it was 3 at the time. I had 3 channels at the time. That's right. I said, I'm going to give them only control of one. I'm going to see if they live up to their promise of making it a managed partnership. If they do, then I'm going to go fully with all 3 channels. If not, I'd like to really go back to you guys right away. And Curse 100% understood what I was saying and said, yeah, if you can get a managed partnership with someone else, we understand why you would want that. Go with it. And if it doesn't work out, come back to us. Okay, so I had this agreement with Curse behind the scenes. I never fully trusted Poltavi at all. I never gave them access to all 3 of my channels at all because I did think that they were overpromising a lot of shit, and I wanted to test the waters and see if it was going to work or not. Okay?
Poltavi's unprofessional nature was
I mean,
foreboding,
okay,
and he
that might be true. Who cares?
Element. With all this happening in the background, the sons of Kojima found out through Phil's channel's source page that he had a new partnership. Not with Curse or even Poltavi as Phil understood it. He was partnered with an entirely new network known as Laveria Media, and as revealed, was using Poltavi as a front to disguise their own network and shady practices. The CEO was found to be just a student at a university. Phil, understanding his mistake, sought to leave his new network. The sons of Kojima allegedly even got the CEO of Laveria Media on for one of their podcasts. This was a confusing set of events for everyone involved. While all this was going on, Phil was in the process of purchasing a new car. For the past 6 years, he had been leasing a BMW. In the last 3 years, he had only driven the BMW 6,000 miles, and so never changed the oil.
That's it?
BMW.
Wait, he only drove that BMW for 6,000 miles? Come on, Phil.
That's true. That's absolutely true. I never changed the oil on the car. What he's not
never
saying
changed
is
the
I
oil.
bought the BMW for 8 years. I had a lease in Connecticut, and I had renewed the lease, and I was only like a year into this next lease. And when I moved, they basically said, if you don't like take the car with you, you have to pay the remainder of your fucking lease right now because you signed a lease. You can't get out of it. So I kept the car, and they actually shipped the BMW all the way across the country when I moved from Connecticut to Washington.
And the cost to ship the car from Connecticut to Washington was probably more than what he owed for the rest of the lease anyway, though. You know what I mean? It was like it probably cost more to ship it than it did to pay off the rest of the lease there.
I was stuck with a BMW, and I couldn't afford it, really. It was expensive, and I was stuck with this lease for like another 3 years. I was rejoicing when the lease finally expired in 2017, and I could go get a less expensive car. So BMW really kind of screwed me in that regard and stuck me with this contract that I didn't want. You're supposed to get maintenance.
That's kind of stuck me with a contract, Phil? That's how contracts work. You signed on the dotted line to have a lease for this long period of time. You can't back out of that shit. That's how it is. That's not screwing you over. That's just life. That's how contracts work, Phil. You can't just wiggle your way out of a contract because you want to. That's how it fucking works. And they were enforcing the contract that you signed. Come on.
No matter what, that's part of the deal. That's why the car is so expensive. And they never contacted us to get it changed.
Phil's audience long understood he was financially illiterate, but hadn't been yet exposed to how illiterate he was with cars or the contracts related to them. That's why, whenever other content creators discover both, it makes for an interesting watch.
In 3 years, we only drove the car 6,000 miles. So, if that gives you any idea...
Hey, what? He leased a car for $400 or $500 a month, and he's only drove it 6,000 miles in 3 years?
Mm-hmm. I barely drove at all. Cherry Dude's like, oh, you could have engine damage. No, Cherry Dude, that's not how it works. BMW has a diagnosis computer inside of the car that tells you when things go wrong. So if there were engine damage...
Oh my god! Hey, this guy's a living meme! No, it's not. BMW has diagnosis computer in the car, okay?
And they never... it does. BMW does have a diagnosis computer in the
car. It does. Well, the computer inside your car that puts that little light on that says, hey, there might be something wrong with your car, like that sensor part could fail. And then what? You're fucking, the engine's fucked. but it didn't fail to show the light, so you fucked it, Phil. Oh, it has a little computer.
That tells you when things are wrong. That's completely true. They never contacted us.
Yeah, my check engine lights on my car is on all the fucking time. You want to know why? Because there's a pinhole leak in the evap system. It's always a fucking small pinhole leak in the evap system. With like the last 2 cars I've had. Because I have a little thing that you plug into your computer, or your computer, fuck. That you plug into your car and it tells you why the light's on. It's always that. It always says, pinhole, like a leak in the evap system somewhere. And it's like usually just a small, tiny little leak somewhere in the evap system, the exhaust. But I'm not going to pay hundreds of dollars to remove the entire fucking muffler part and exhaust just for a tiny little leak that doesn't affect the functionality of the car at all. So why bother?
Why would they contact you to change your oil?
Yeah, exactly.
Because under the terms of the lease, BMW is responsible for all maintenance on their cars, and they are supposed to contact you.
Yeah, they're responsible for the maintenance, but you gotta physically go there for them to do it.
When you have the time
Philip
to change the oil. But because I
Philip
moved the car from Connecticut to Washington, they shirked all responsibility and pretended like they didn't have to do anything. I called the place out here was like, we don't service your car. That's a Connecticut car. You only get that service in Connecticut. I was like, what? So I got fucked. BMW literally fucked me, okay?
Destiny, the person reacting to Phil's explanation, calls Phil the salesman stream. Wanting to have Phil out, Destiny jumped onto Phil's stream and began typing in his chat, attempting to provide financial advice. Phil, of course, ignored this, and on his forums he posted, quote, Destiny, a Twitch streamer who I never even heard of before 2 weeks ago, came into my chat and practically begged me to stop what I'm doing and talk with him. What the fuck can this guy tell me about buying cars that I don't already know? This guy probably didn't know I went to school for finance.
That's great. No, that's really great. That's hilarious. No, he didn't jump into the chat, all right, during my stream and be like,
yeah, he went to school for finance. It really shows, doesn't it, right? Because we all know Phil is such a great investor. He's so good with his finances.
Hey, you know, you're talking about cars and I want to help you out.
Christ.
No, I was playing a video game. I was doing a video game stream. I remember it was that game Prey. And I was not talking about cars, nothing. He comes into my chat and he's trying to derail my entire stream. Hey, can you drop everything you're doing right now with your business to talk to me about buying a new car? No. If you had contacted me and said, hey, Phil, would you like to set up a stream we can do together to talk about cars? Maybe I would have said yes. Maybe I would have said no. He literally wedged himself into my stream. Imagine if right now Destiny came into the chat and said, Phil, I know you're reacting to your own documentary, but I really want to talk to you about this great financing on dishwashers right now. Okay? Do you want to know what I would do? I would ban him. Just like I did then. I would say, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out of my chat. And I would...
I don't know. If Destiny, fucking Destiny, who has like how many subs? Huge fucking name, right? Like, if you like him or hate him, it doesn't matter. He has a big following. Came into my chat and be like, hey, I know, like, whatever. Do you want to do this instead? Fuck yeah, hold on a second. Sorry, guys, I'll finish this later. I'm gonna go talk to fucking Destiny about whatever the fuck he wants to talk about. Yeah, I probably would do that. That's something I would fucking do.
Would ban him, okay? That's all that
because I'm not doing this for a job. This isn't my fucking job. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I was doing this for what? 3 hours? 3.5 hours. I'll finish the, 5 minutes I have left later, and I'll go talk to fucking Destiny really quick about whatever the fuck. Yeah.
All right?
Yes,
Unquote.
do that.
Phil, still in the mindset of discussing the drama around the networks, was talking about it on stream.
I trusted YouTube system to work properly, okay? Here's what happened.
Yeah, always biting the hand that feeds you, huh, Phil?
Okay. I think, uh-oh.
What?
Hold on one second, everybody. I'll be right back. I'm getting an important phone call.
Oh.
Folks, I've got a family emergency. It came... Oh, is this... Okay. This is, I think, where I wanted to end it. This is the next topic, correct? Yes.
Yeah, that's the breakup.
Right, this is where we'll end it for tonight. Perfect. Now we
the hospital call.
At the breakup. This is where we'll pick it up.
You guys, that's American healthcare, right, guys?
So that's good that we did that. And we do this tomorrow. We do the breakup, the continued downfall, new relationship, Bill is a meme, taxes, no one likes him.
All right, so that's basically it for this one. Yeah, that's it for part 2. And then maybe in a week, well, probably 2 weeks, I'll do part 3. Because next week I'll probably just do another catch-up stream. because I still got a couple, not the Keffels one, because I still got to fucking record that video. But I still got a couple more clips to react to, and there's more stuff, more new clips too, I think. Ah, so bright. Piece of Piece is restreaming.
I have no tools to get out of this now.
Punish. Oh my god, please.
Only at $28 out of 150.
Pulls it off, man. This is insane. This is some fucking cracked out shit. Nope, punish.
He's still playing as Terry, I guess. Anyway, yeah, so like maybe next week I'll probably do a catch-up stream, like I said. But yeah, it's basically it. One thing I wanted to say really quick, I'm not a full-time detractor, obviously. I have a lot of things, projects and stuff that I'm balancing a lot in my free time and when I'm not at work, you know? Because I work and then I have like a bunch of different projects I want to do and playing video games as well as doing this. So I'm not a full-time detractor. I can't fucking restream him every fucking day, right? I don't have the time. I appreciate the ones that do have the time because it's fun to watch restreamers and other people like Piece of Piece. I like watching Len the Deranged and Leet when he does do a DSP video, stuff like that. Detractor Beam, you know, I like watching people do that. So I appreciate the detractors that do have more free time to do it more often. But I think I would go like insane if I even if I had the free time, I don't think I could mentally handle that much DSP in a week. I think I would go insane at that point. Honestly, I can't. Too much of this guy will rot your brain. Even watching him and laughing at him in a detractor sense will rot your fucking brain. It really will. And big ups to the ones that do that, because I don't know how they keep their sanity watching this moron for as long as they do. Consecutively. You know what I mean? Like, especially like Len the Deranged, they're like the detractors that go almost every fucking day like that. I don't know how they fucking do that. So like big ups to all those, but yeah. But I wanted to say like really quick before I go is like I really do actually appreciate you guys. Like the ones that are actually watching my content and enjoying my content. I really do appreciate you guys because I get it. I'm not like the best detractor. I'm not well known. I'm not well liked. Most people don't even know about me, right? And that's fine because I don't that's not my goal, right? I'm just here because I want to have fun. I feel like I could add more of a unique touch in the aspect of being a detractor when I do cover it, because it's like I have been watching it for a while, and on top of that, like I'm more like left leaning and like LGBT than a lot of detractors are in that aspect too. So it's like I enjoy doing it, but like I said, I just don't have a whole lot of time to do it. So it's like I'm not gonna stop doing it just because like I'm not popular or something, right? Because I didn't start doing this to get popular, right? So that's not my goal anyway. But unfortunately, I can't do it every day. But when I do it, I'm glad that you guys are around. I'm glad you guys are watching. I appreciate that a lot. So I just wanted to say thank you and be safe out there. And I will see you guys the next time I stream. Have a good. There's no holiday, right? Oh no, because tomorrow is October 1st. So yeah, apparently Halloween, because Halloween is like the whole fucking month DSP apparently. So I don't know. But I'll see you guys probably in a week, maybe a little bit less. I might do something on Friday. I don't know. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.